So I think you have to have an awareness and a discernment as well, because again, we could think that the man is just not interested in us, and it could be he could have be thinking of a million ways to get in contact with us or communicate with us, and maybe he's not sure how. Maybe he's not picking up on your vibe. So that's just a little gem for the women, because it's not always that he's not interested in you. It could be he's just not that type of man to always be talking. You know, you hear about women coming home and wanting to tell, you know, they man about what Sally in accounting did, and he like, okay. You know, he's not wanting to talk about that per se. Doesn't mean he's not interested in you. Doesn't mean that he doesn't care about you. It just means that conversation is
Well, Precious, I kind of push back on that a little, because it does mean that he might not be interested or he might not care about you. Because as a man who does care and is interested, he learns how to understand some of the things that might be interesting to you that's not of interest to him. And because he is with you, or he cares about you, he wants to be able to lend that time or that ear to you. Now, does it have to be consistent? No, I agree with you. It doesn't have to be, you have to, there might be some limitations on it. But as far as, and you mentioned something else, you said he might not like talking, but he could talk with his friends. Then he needs to mature. If he could talk to his friends but can't talk to you, he needs to mature.
Well, I'm not saying that, Sean. I'm not saying that he's not talking to the woman. I'm just saying that in most cases, men would be more verbose with their guys, and that may not be the case. Some guys, they say that most guys bond over the activity itself. You guys don't even have to be talking. So I'm just giving different scenarios, but like you said, maybe he's not interested. But again, that comes with the woman using discernment and studying him as a man and knowing yourself as well, because a lot of women don't know themselves and they just go with whatever and then blame a man, and it's like, but you didn't really know yourself, so you can't put that all on him. You know what I mean? And as far as the men, yes, definitely show interest, definitely show that you're serious or you're intentional, but don't step out of your frame for a woman. I just don't think that should happen. Hank, how are you? Hank, are you there? All right. He did say, give me a second. I thought I had him down there waiting for a long time, so I wanted to pop him up, but he might need another second.
He's practicing on how to be,
You know what, Sean? Alrighty, so we have some more of these comments because I like to hear what you guys have to say. But you can move from dating to a serious relationship with the quickness if you like. Yes, everybody's going to do what they're going to do, right? So everyone's going to do what they're going to do. You truly have to study someone to see what their true moves are. Because that's what's going to tell, and time is going to tell as well. Blaze says, I'm all for being intentional, communicative, and consistent with the woman who I'm interested in, but that does not include being on the phone all day, every day. I agree with that. The real relationship Don, passport bro villain. It actually keeps us strong and intense and purposeful. I agree with that. Let's have something to talk about every single time we talk, but we don't have to talk all day. But you are different pastures. Your silence is like a high level of music. Oh, I appreciate that. The real relationship doesn't start until both parties can be bored by each other. Yes. Until you could sit in silence and just look out the window and be content. Mental telepathic silence is for a man and a woman, not men. It's weird when you are around a group of guys who are totally silent. Do you guys go around your guy friends and are completely silent?
When we with the homies, we typically verbose and chopping it up. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I've been around a group of guys and we all just silent.
Nah,
y'all at prayer. Y'all at prayer.
Nah, that'll feel weird. Like you looking at me, I'm looking at you. What up?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree.
yeah, I mean,
I have a question because I feel otherwise. I actually sometimes can be around my friends, my male friends, and we don't say nothing. But I've never been on a team. I've never been, on a basketball team, football team, or anything like that, where I think that's part of learned behavior. So my question is that part of maybe a team atmosphere?
guys, who's
No,
gonna?
because I mean, when you typically around the homies, y'all are chopping it up for a reason. There's no reason for y'all to be together and be in silence unless you're having a moment of silence for some particular person or activity. Outside of that, I'll say, why are you in the same room with the fellas or whatnot if y'all are just gonna be silent? That doesn't make sense to me.
Nah, that's like too much eye contact and you ain't saying nothing. That's damn near flirting with another man. I'm like, nah, you gotta hear me out, Hank. You just staring in a man's face and ain't saying nothing. What's that about?
Is that what you're gonna equate it to? Flirting with a man?
Go do some push-ups or something.
God damn. That's a hell of a stretch, brother.
Come on. 5 to 8 seconds,
Man.
Hank.
Oh, so you using the 3-second rules?
Yeah, something like that.
But I mean, kiddo, to your point, it's not like you all staring at each other. I'm just saying you in the same. Like for example, a lot of people, the people that I'm talking about is like my brother and people of that nature. Because anybody who I hang out with, that's my man. Is like they're like brothers to me. So it ain't something we need to always be. Yo, what up? We just sit there. We might be looking at some TV or something. It ain't like we came together to do this. It's just that we happen to be, in the same place. We came to visit each other, and we might have times we just sitting there. Ain't nothing said. We're just sitting there. We already said, "What's up? How you been? What's going down?" All right, we did all that, and we just chilling.
But
So
y'all
much,
probably like in your phones and stuff. Like,
yeah, doing something. You doing an activity. He over here doing something.
right.
I mean, I agree. If I'm at somebody, if I'm doing that with somebody, I already made the intention to get to that place, or they came over, so that already has happened. And it's just that I haven't left yet. It's not like we just sit in. All right, yo, cool, Peter, I'm out. We still sitting there, and we're not in the phone. I mean, depending on who it is, people might be in the phones. We told to be in our phones, so we probably doing some other stuff, watching TV or something. But it ain't like we sitting there having a conversation or full blown conversation all the time.
Whew. Not gonna happen.
Get out my face.
Hey, now that's when I'm gonna turn to the right and be like, well, all right then, and then just walk away.
Well,
He's
well,
like,
let me
I see
put a little
y'all.
bit more on it to give some perspective. My brother lives about an hour away from me, so at these moments, I've already driven, or he's already driven an hour. So it ain't like we just like, "Yeah, what's up, blah, 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 blah," and then we out right after that initial exchange or whatever we had to talk about is over. So we still sitting in the same vicinity. We just got, "Yeah, all right." But then again, it's my brother, so that's a difference as well. It ain't like I congregate with any of my homeboys nowadays because I just kind of outgrew that. It ain't like I got a need or a desire to hang out with my homeboys right now.
I hear you, Sean. My words, it's been one. Grab some snacks on your way home.
It's been one.
We said that, yo, you take something when you want to go. Yo, I make you a plate. We do that.
I'm concerned. What are we talking about right now? What are we talking about?
All right. Well, we were talking about, talking to if you're dating, is it necessary to talk every day? And we started to get on the road of men don't necessarily have to talk, or sometimes they talk while they're together. Obviously, Sean don't talk, but he has a kumbaya moment. But is it necessary for you to, while you're dating someone, is it necessary for you to talk to them every day? So dating does not mean we have to talk every day.
Now I know most guys don't have to do it, but of course we we try to appease the individual we with, and so we end up doing it. And most of the times we don't even really talk; we just listen. I've said it before. We like a sounding board for the ladies, so allow them to get it off. You know what I'm saying? Of course, she would say that.
But it's true though. You know, most guys, if y'all didn't have to, if you didn't feel like you had to talk to a woman every day, you wouldn't. Because men are, you guys compartmentalize. And so it's like, I checked in with her. She's good. We good. You know, I talked to her yesterday. We good. I remember watching my pastor one time and he was like, you know, they were talking about their love language, and one of her love languages is touch. And he's like, well, I touched you yesterday. Like, he didn't think it was a big thing, but she was like, I need you to touch me every day. He was like, but I read your yesterday. You like, you know what I mean? I know this is crazy, but I got a real pastor like that. And it's like, it's certain things that men wouldn't do if it wasn't for women. And I mean, from talking to spending money to being in certain environments, guys are okay with a TV, a beer, or a soda, maybe the game, and y'all are good with a folding chair, okay, and maybe a banana, or maybe a specimen of something, a banana to eat. Okay, maybe that was not a good one.
Not the banana. Let's use another fruit.
Some strawberries. I'm sorry, my bad.
It just got worse.
But what's wrong with strawberries?
Yeah, eating strawberry in front of a man.
No, I'm saying about yourself.
Man.
Why can't you eat a strawberry in front of a man? You bite a strawberry. How do you eat strawberries?
Miss Precious, how you eat a strawberry masculine in front of man?
You bite it. What do you mean? You be sucking your strawberries because that's what it sounds like. What you mean? You bite it. You bite it like you bite any. It's a strawberry. It's a fruit.
No, ma'am. There's a couple of fruits you eat in silence. Away
Lord
from people.
Jesus. No, we not here. We can't be here right now. I know we're not right here. What?
It has to be sliced in like a fruit cup.
Strawberry?
Sliced.
I done heard it all. Not a strawberry, Kenny. Not a strawberry, bro. Not. Come on. Jesus, have mercy.
You get two. You got to eat those in silence, or if your girl feeding you them, you got to be like.
What about cherries? You can't. Is that worse? All right, we're gonna move on. We're not gonna talk about the fruits of the spirit with Kenny because obviously he got to do those in private. Okay. So that's what
you doing that on purpose. I see what you're doing. It's a build-up.
No, I'm playing with you, love. I'm a jokester. Maybe y'all haven't seen this part.
I'm laughing.
I'm just saying. What? It's fruit. Am I wrong?
No.
Do y'all eat y'all fruit in private? Maybe I'm wrong. I can be corrected.
Not on this one.
Hey, God happened to me. If you still in the chat, have you ever seen me eat a banana in front of you? Put it in the chat.
Okay, a banana I can understand, but still, like, I mean, you know, why? I'm right. Okay, my bad.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Sorry. I thought we was just talking about fruit.
The banana was a stretch. The strawberry, you know.
All I'm saying is y'all are okay with the simple things. Now back to Hank. I apologize for derailing the conversation. Back to Hank. Do you feel as though it's necessary? You can go on with your explanation.
Do I feel like what's necessary to talk every day?
Yes, we're off the fruit.
Okay, good. No, I don't. Personally, no, I don't.
Okay.
I don't like to talk a lot like that. I just don't. I mean, I'd rather just be in the same room and just be next to each other, hugged up on each other, you know, watch a movie together. I can't stand talking during a movie. Don't ask me no questions. No, we not doing this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but do I have to talk every day? I don't. It's not a necessity to me, but I understand that's what she likes. And so, you know, for her to make her feel secure, to cater to her, I do it and have conversation and text or actually talk.
Okay, so you're considerate. That's what you call being considerate.
Yes.
It's definitely necessary. I can understand that. All right, I see Real Bravado Network with the $10 says drive by support for my dude Hank. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ooh, somebody is calling you out. He lying, Precious. He has to hear my voice every day. She said Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, Monday. That's what she said. That's what I think. All right.
Anybody want to defend that?
I don't have to. I
Oh,
don't have to.
we're going to go on to the next topic. Now, I saw this video. You guys hit that like button. Definitely share the stream with a friend of a friend, because I think it's going to be a good one. We have this video that I saw on social media, and there was a lot of negative comments surrounding it. So I wanted to get you guys' opinion. I got this like right before the stream, so I'm not quite sure if anyone has seen it yet. Let's see.
Qualified myself so many times, bro.
That's real.
I should be divorced 3 times by the same woman for the things I've done and the positions I put us in, right? But she has fighting her like I've never seen in any woman in my life. She had fighting that I ain't never seen in my mama. She has fighting her that I've never saw in her mama. So it's like she just refused to let go. She saw more, and she covered me. She wasn't on social media trying to badmouth me, making me look bad. I did a good job of making me look stupid. I feel like you can't get mad at people for talking about you if you take the gun they own, take the bullet, load the gun, cock it, and give it back to them. They go pull the trigger, bro.
That's real.
You can't give people ammunition to get mad when they talk about you.
That's
so
real.
I gave people ammunition, and there was a time in my life I gave people ammunition.
Yeah.
And it was her
That's so
fight.
real.
It was her fight. It was her resilience, bro. And her fortitude is like, yo, I'm fighting for my family.
So I want to show you guys some of this is just some of the comments, not even nowhere near hitting the peak of how many negative comments I saw about this video. But before I show you guys the comments, what do you think about that video after you heard it?
I personally feel like those comments are going to be from women that are negative.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think when you hear people say that marriage is hard, it's dudes like that make it hard. I don't think marriage has to be hard. I think that there are things that you have to work through. Yes. But when you hear people say, oh, marriage is hard, I think it's because of dudes like that.
Okay. Any?
When I heard him say that, 2 female names came to mind. Rita Marley and Camille Cosby.
Okay.
Rita Marley, she wrote a book on her life with Bob Marley. Prolific artist, horrible husband. There's many times that he's offered her disrespect, but to this day she honors his name and takes care of his outside kids because she saw bigger than her emotions and what she wanted. She saw that keeping the family intact and preserving the name came with the duty.
Right.
In her book, she wrote, at times I realized in our relationship, I couldn't be his wife. I had to be his sister. And I thought that was so demeaning. And I put the book down, but I couldn't dig deep enough to understand the meaning of it. This lady took disrespect when he wrote Waiting in Vain for Junior Gang. Cindy Breakspear, Jamaica 1976. He wrote Waiting in Vain for her. This is a lady that's stoic. He wrote Ambush in the Night because of his cowardice. He had Rita stand in front of him and assailants came to kill him and she took a bullet in the head for him. I thought of Camille Cosby. Amid all that went on with Bill Cosby, she stood stoic with her husband and still there till today. So when people on the outside don't understand the dynamics of relationship, because duty within marriage is one of the cornerstones of it. You can't really bash somebody if you don't know what they have and how deep they're willing to go for that person that they love unconditionally. And that's how I see it.
But that doesn't make sense to me hearing that, because you say duty in marriage, right? Well, if that duty's one-sided, I can't sit here and say that Camille Cosby is stoic for honoring her side of the commitment while Bill's out here Bill Cosby and everybody. That doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, King.
Don't let that gloss over your head. Bill Cosby.
I heard it. Oh,
Okay, King. You think there'll be a day, or the day has already passed, when he lay in that same bed with her, and I said, and he confessed and said, you know what, baby, I know I've done so much wrong to you, and you stuck by me. I could never do you wrong another day, and I will honor you the rest of my life. Does he get that opportunity to atone for the woman he made his vows to? Unfortunately, Bob Marley never got the chance because he was ignorant and let the cancer spread. But he left a message. He left a legacy. You could listen to his songs from 81 that predicting the things that are happening right now. Have no fear for atomic energy. None of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look in? That's prophetic. He was a horrible husband, but he was a prophet. And if we go biblical, then you got to knock King Solomon. 700 wives, 300 concubines. Who are we to say?
Is the average person going to be afforded that same grace though? Right. So like Martin Luther King apparently had his wiles about him, right? Bob Marley, Bill Cosby, these were men that had some type of status about them. So should their wives extend grace to them because they've got this platform, they're a name, they've got this big laws about them? The average guy is not going to get that grace.
I don't think that it should be because they have a platform or they have a certain type of attention or whatever the case may be that people think. I think it should be because men aren't perfect. Men aren't perfect. I mean, men aren't naturally, in my opinion, monogamous. You're not naturally monogamous. And so when you choose a woman to give your last name to, it is going to be a struggle to become one. Like you have to go in it knowing that. Who goes into it thinking, now, King, I know what you said, like, oh, it shouldn't be a struggle and things of that nature. And you should get along. You know, at the base level, you should get along. You should be kind to one another. You should be considerate, like King said. But there are going to be growing pains and becoming one with another person, especially a man. Women can flock to other women like it ain't nothing. But women have issues being with men and becoming one with them. And so when I saw the video, I also saw the comment. All right. So the comments that I saw were these. Women shouldn't have to fight to be proved properly loved and cared for, especially by the very men who asked to marry them. 748 likes. So cringe. Why do men constantly put their wives through these situations, especially ones that claim to be children of God? My God, Miranda Watts. 31 likes. Well, one thing's for sure, you're not deserving of all the fighting. Why do we have to fight so much to be loved correctly? Why do we have to fight so much to be loved correctly? So the comments are showing, and like these are 3 comments. This is the Willie Moore Jr. show, so that's where it is on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure the episode is up on YouTube. And I do want to do my due justice and watch it. But when you see the comments, how do I get rid of this thing now, child? Hold on. Okay. When you see the comments, it's almost like women think that a relationship is going to be like easy, like it isn't going to be a fight. And when I say a fight, you shouldn't be fighting each other, right? You shouldn't be fighting each other, but you should be fighting to become one. So if there are things that a man struggles with, or there are things that he comes to you about, and it's less than what you think should be, and you really like this man. This how you know women don't really like men, because when you really like him, you're willing to work with him. You're willing to. I don't know a woman that don't really like a man that's not willing to work with him. But sometimes you can get head over heels. But I want you guys to weigh in on the negative comments that you've seen. Sean, you said you thought they would be from women. Kenny, you gave about Marley and him being so wise, but he wasn't necessarily a good husband. Hank, what do you think about the video and the comments?
I don't know. You know, I thought somebody here had a good question. I think it was Def. Was it Def Maggot?
This one?
Yeah.
Would you extend grace the other way around?
Huh.
The other way around. So
because I'm not gonna tolerate disrespect. I think that question came from where I was talking about sticking it out with somebody. I'm not going to tolerate disrespect in my marriage or relationship. It's not happening. No grace, none.
Okay.
So I couldn't fault King for that, because I wouldn't do it either. But I wouldn't expect her to do that. I can't be mad at her. I can't. I got to accept that. I mean, if I made the decision and make a selfish decision and cheat on her, yeah, I expect her to leave me. I don't expect her to stay around. If she does, man, damn. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm blessed. I couldn't give her the same. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Well, one of the things that I'm sorry, Ken, go ahead.
Go ahead, Sean.
One of the things that we're not taking into account when we ask that question in reverse is somebody who is getting or who's doing everything that that wife is doing as a husband. Now, of course, we probably can't really put ourselves in that mindset, but where the wife is taking care of the family and out there making it a comfortable life for you and the children, then would that grace be extended? That's when the question is fairly or can fairly be answered. I can't put myself in a position mentally to answer it, but I think in order for us to really fairly answer it, we would have to really fairly take into consideration all that's being provided. If your wife was providing that and you chose that to sit and stay with the children, etc., would you extend that grace?
Okay. Dude, I looked up the stat done by brides.com, because those things are, according to them, are fairly low. Men cheat during being married, about 20%, women at 13. But we're talking about the anomaly right here as for being able to forgive your spouse, not your girlfriend, someone that you took vows for. And it's funny, those people can make reference to Bible verses. And I gave you one. King Solomon had 700 wives, 300 concubines. So keep it consistent. There are many guys in the Bible, or many stories told, if you want to go biblical, of great men having many wives and many concubines. What makes it different out here when you try to cleave to one? If you really want, that makes you cringe. So reading the Bible should make you cringe. But now it's hard. Marriage ain't easy. I watched it. I have to empathize with what I see. Who are we to say that these people see a quality in their spouse that we don't? Hink says, that's a non-negotiable. King says that's a non-negotiable. But who's to say that person within that relationship got on their knees, prayed, and said, I'm going to fight for my marriage. I'm going to hold this against my husband, but hopefully within prayer, and he becomes cleave with me once more, there's atonement. He realizes it wrong and love me for the rest of my my God-given life while I'm no longer here. That could possibly make that bond stronger. We're making like rash judgments. If you really, really love somebody, I'm gonna give you a story. My first love, Margaret. She came to me no other day than other days. I was head over heels, butterflies, roses fell from the air when she walked in the room, stuff like that. She came and told me crying I slept with my ex-boyfriend. I would have never been the wiser. I could never forgive her. As I got older, I realized if I could have got over that hurdle, she'd have loved me for life. Because what it took for that woman to tell me that when I would have never been the wiser. So when I think about this, our first reaction is that punch in the face. But in my opinion, once you take that vow, which is supposed to be very serious, only in my opinion, I think whomever's in that bond should decide whether they choose to fight for it or not.
So Kenny, you said her name was Margaret? God damn, boy, that's a old head name right there.
Hey, why?
Yeah. My question is, if the shoe went on the foot, would you be okay with that? Would you be able to get forgiveness? I think that's the question was.
Me doing her dirty and telling her that, only she could answer that. I was too young. I was too heartbroken to understand what it takes for a woman. I would have never been the wiser. How would I have known?
Ken,
There's a
you asked my
question.
argument.
There's a pregunta for you here. So, in your growth right now, Kenny, could you give your wife grace?
If I loved my wife unconditionally and she came like Margaret came to me, asked for my forgiveness, I might be hurt. I might be closed out for a while, but I wouldn't give up on her because I'm not making a vow that I'm not willing to keep. Because truthfully, when you married, only death do you part. And if you really take what you believe in seriously, I would have to fight for it if it's worth fighting for. If my wife came to me like Margaret came to me, I would fight for it.
And I can wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. That's probably why I'm not married, because I do believe in it and I don't want to get married to get a divorce. And to your point, I don't at my age now, I don't get upset with what happens. I get upset with what I find out. And I respect the person a lot more when you're able to, like you said, Margaret did with you. I respect that because, and I understand and respect it at my age. You know, at the age you said younger, I might not have, but I respect the person who can come to me because really they're coming and asking me for forgiveness. And that goes back, if we're going to go to biblical times, he without sin cast the first stone. So I would naturally have to consider, you know what? Like to your point, you didn't have to know about that. So it took more balls to actually tell you that than it did to keep it secret, because that's part of what I think we challenge with all the time. Out of sight, out of mind. If what you don't know won't hurt you, all of those sayings, which are opposite biblical practices and principles. So, yes, I would be able to give, if I was to answer that question, yes, I'm able to give my wife grace if she made a mistake, because that's merely what it is. We're just measuring the mistake on how we feel.
Good evening, HD. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Can I talk about what this brother was just talking about?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I agree. Marriage covers the best things and the worst things in the vows, right? For better, for worse, rich or poor, sickness and health. So the greatness of marriage and also the worst, right? You bring up scripture. Scripture also says that you can leave if there's some sexual infidelity, right? even though Christ clearly said, hey, listen, I did not intend it to be this way, right? And that you should want to provide grace. However, he has given people the option to leave for certain situations. But I think also we should like consider the reality is that listen, like some people have different pain tolerances than others. Some people can take things a little bit longer because they're thinking about the purpose of marriage more so than anything else. But I don't think people have the same like pain tolerance to emotions as they do to physical.
I
Because
agree.
once something physically happens to you, you kind of get used to that physical punishment. But sometimes when you're getting mentally punished, a lot of people can kind of like waive mental punishment more so than physical because it's not something you can tangibly fix. It sits there, builds the seed into the body and the mind, and it continues to build as long as you allow it to. And it's not something that's easy to break because I was literally just talking to somebody the other day. We was arguing about something in regards to slavery time. And the biggest thing that most people say about slavery in America was it wasn't the physical things, it was the mental things that would
Mhm.
cause all of these groups of people to continue to stay in this thing, even though they probably could have overpowered those people and left.
I definitely would agree with that. Mental bondage is worse than a jail cell. Is really having your mind in a jail cell. You have to be able to divert your thinking, and that happens with the people that you're around. Because just like social media, they'll flood you and flood you and flood you with drama or negativity or whatever the case may be. And if you're continuously watching those things and you're continuously consuming those things, you start to sound like those things. You start to think like those things. You start to do those things. And so when it comes to mental and then emotional abuse, some write or some may say that emotional abuse is equivalent to physical abuse because if you let it build up, it will turn into high blood pressure. If you let it build up, it will turn into depression. If you let it build up, it will turn into ailments that you have that you didn't go out into this world and get. You are holding on to things you should have let go a long time ago. I always say pack light, travel lightly. I do not want to go throughout my day feeling heavy. Who wants to do that? Feeling heavy in the spirit and feeling heavy and knowing that I can't process my thoughts because I have all this stuff weighing on me. And I think a lot of people really do carry around that emotional weight. But then it does turn into physical. So you have to understand that it all intertwines. It all comes back. And if you don't take care of one, another area is going to fail. But you have to take care of your mind first because it all starts in your mind. If you can't change your mind, you can't change your life.
You know what's crazy? Some of these women that say, "Oh, I cringe," and this and chiming in on those statuses. But guess what? I bet you a bunch of them are part of the Beehive. I bet you a bunch of them listen to Beyonce,
Mm-hmm.
Jay
But it's a
Z.
mental programming.
Okay,
They will listen to that because it's not tangible. They won't listen to somebody on YouTube saying, "Hey, look, if you don't change this, this is what's going to happen to you."
okay,
They'll listen to Beyonce because Beyonce got money.
okay,
Beyonce can go somewhere and people flock to her.
okay. But here's the thing that I was trying to impart. Has Jay Z cheated on Beyonce multiple times?
Allegedly. No.
Allegedly, right?
Yes.
Solange ain't trying to fly up beside your head like a wild animal for her
For
sister.
nothing. Mm-hmm.
You wrote a song. What was that album, The Lemonade or whatever it is, about his infidelities, implying it through a play on words.
Mm.
But you stayed, and not too long ago, what'd she say? She is so thankful to have, I'm paraphrasing, that man in her life because he made her what she is. Did she not?
You're right, she did, but that's her real life. These women are looking at the glitz and the glam of it. That's her real life. Beyonce got cheated on. Beyonce got cheated on.
I was pointing
Everybody
out.
know that Beyonce got cheated on, so they want to. They won't take that story, but they'll take the other story.
See, I'm pointing out the hypocrisy.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. So, you know, when you see the women negatively responding to it, it's almost like y'all ain't never had to fight for that. Is there anything that y'all ever had to fight for? Ever? Did y'all ever fight for anything? Because you know that within fighting for something, it's not going to be easy. There are going to be hard times. You have to understand that every day brings on a new set of issues. You ain't got to be looking for them. You don't have to be looking for them.
And can I just
So how are you going to handle it? What are you going to do? This is the point of truth. Well, how are you going to handle it? And so if you can tell that by the comments, it's just like they don't want to handle anything. It's like I don't want to have to fight. I don't want to have to go through anything to be with a man. And it's like, well, do you not think that you're going to go through anything?
and can I just reiterate the fact that infidelity is a mistake. And again, if we're measuring mistakes, that's part of the problem, because we're measuring mistakes of infidelity versus a mistake that maybe a woman might make that is common. I don't have one off the top of my head. But the point is after you make the mistake and you ask for the forgiveness and you're making the measures to stop or not duplicate the mistake again.
Wait, I have to stop you. Are we saying that cheating is a mistake?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I address that, please?
Yes.
Because I have my own thoughts about this whole mistake business, especially when it comes to sexual infidelity, right? You know how people be like, yo, I accidentally had sex with this person. You can maybe accidentally kiss that person. You can maybe accidentally hold that person just a little bit too long. But after the first stroke, bro, it's not an accident. Once you put it in, pull it back in, put it in, put it back in, bro, that is a decision. Listen, most of the time, you know, this is what grinds my gears. I'm an adult. You're an adult. You know when you're doing something that's effed up. Matter of fact, you give yourself a pep talk before you go do said thing. That is not a mistake. That's a misstep.
Set it straight, okay?
Because you knew darn well before you was about to go up in that jank. Now listen, I'm not saying that you can't be remorseful about the decision that you made, right? I'm not arguing that. Or be repentant. I'm not arguing that. What I'm arguing is that you knew darn well what sin was before you went up and did what you did.
Wait.
You see, you
Sean,
there,
real quick.
so there was a pool
Sean, real quick.
before you slid into it, right? You were just
what
diving
your
on
issue is that mistake isn't for you. You're putting a feeling attached to it that's not egregious enough a word to merit the offense, even though it is a mistake. Because
Absolutely.
it makes it sound soft to you that it should be another word that physically lands and knocks you down. But if you look at the definition of mistake, that's a misstep, that's an error. But maybe the word isn't profound enough to merit the disgust that you have for the act.
And you're right. You said it's not a mistake. Isn't a bad decision a mistake? If a woman makes a bad decision, why is she all embraced and saying, "Oh, she made a mistake"? The same way a man made a bad decision. Yes, he carried it all the way out. It was a bad decision.
Okay, so that's what it was, a bad decision.
And that's what a mistake is. you easily embrace it when it comes to a woman making a bad decision. Oh, she made a mistake. But then when a man makes a bad decision, you're measuring differently. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
think
like last week, right? I told you I needed a new soundboard because I spilled wine on my soundboard. Like, to me, that's like a mistake. I didn't do it on purpose. I grabbed the cup and it was a mistake. I don't know how we get all the way to penetration and call that a mistake. Now, I'm not saying that it should not be something. I'm not saying that, oh, you need to run out the door if that happens. But what I'm saying, I do want to classify what you're saying and understand what you're saying while you're saying it.
Okay.
So,
So let me use your example. You shouldn't have been drinking around your soundboard, walking around with a glass. You shouldn't have been doing that. So you didn't just walk and do it. You actually had steps to doing it that you should have been doing, and you can mindfully probably come to that conclusion in hindsight. But you did those steps,
okay.
and it just so happened that it led to you know, the substance falling into the sound machine. What is
Okay.
the difference?
When you put it like that, I did make the decision to drink around the soundboard. I did have the cup next to an electronic. And so if I spilled the wine on electronic, of course I have no one to blame but myself. So, you have to be accountable for that. But I would call that I wouldn't call cheating a mistake, because cheating with the ing means it's ongoing. Like, it's on. I wouldn't call cheating a mistake. If you cheated, okay, we that's a mistake. We I'll give you that. You got
Okay.
that.
Well, what about
But
this?
if you're cheating, then it's like, we need to go see the lady about these mistakes.
But aren't we cheating until we're caught? When we're
I'm
caught
sorry.
when we're caught is when it's when we, oh my God. But before it's caught, if you run around drinking the all around electronics all the time and nothing happened, you are still running around drinking doing the things that led up to it until you make the mistake and it pours in, and you're now repenting or you're remorseful because the consequences of what happened because of your actions. Now you're mindful of it. Now you are thinking, maybe I shouldn't do it again, or maybe I should change my actions moving forward. And the same.
Y'all sound crazy, man.
Okay.
This shit sound calling. Give me a piece of ass. A mistake. No, man. Look, when I cheated, I made a piss poor, selfish ass decision. That's what I did. I made a selfish decision. It was planned out. It was thought out. A mistake is something random.
Yeah.
That's not random when I'm sitting there setting it up to have a conversation, to interact, to talk about doing and hooking up, and then actually doing that. That's not a mistake.
Well, your mistake
that is a piss poor, selfish decision. That's exactly what it is.
I agree, but your mistake was getting married before you.
No, that wasn't a mistake. The mistake was to make the decision to cheat.
Let me finish my comment. If you took your vows seriously, now cheating wouldn't be something considered.
Hello, everybody.
Bullshit, man.
No, the bullshit is not taking your vows seriously. To me, that's my opinion.
Look, some people consider cheating even if we're not married.
Okay, that's fine, and that's still
so that's still considered cheating, right?
Okay. I'm not.
So I'm not married. I'm single, not married, but I just go cheat on my lady.
Okay, so in fairness,
with another woman other than my lady. That's still a selfish decision.
I agree. Hank, we're saying the same thing. I'm using the marriage as the
aren't we?
Go ahead,
Sean.
Yes.
At the heart of things, we are selfish. Hank, we are selfish, and so you have to understand that that's the nature of us as people. So if you again are going into marriage and knowing these things, I'm gonna know your flesh is gonna get weak. I'll probably know when it's weak. So you have to be in tune. You have to know that this ain't gonna be perfect. You set your guidelines, you say these are non-negotiables and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, you can't predict what's going to happen in 10 years. You can't predict what's going to happen in 15 years. You can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow.
And to the point, if your flesh is weak, but you have repentance for it after, whenever you get this repentance, does that mean that you should be subjected to the persecution of your deed forever?
So hold
No,
on.
it should be addressed.
Crazy. Why do you need to repent for a mistake?
Because if you don't, then you just continue to make it.
Well, I mean, repentance just means to turn the other way. You're not begging nobody, to like, it just means I'm not going to do it anymore. But the thing is, if you do it again, what's going to happen? Like those are the conversations that you have to have. What is going to happen? What's going to be the recourse? Because I can't, it's something about a man who says to me, I'll never cheat on you. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. But I'm not expecting you to cheat on me. But I don't want you to plant a seed and then something else grow from it because you done planted this seed. And then when it happens, I'm like, but you said. Well, I don't really like talking into the future about certain things. Like, don't say certain things because when it then gets there, if you can't deliver or if you can't live up to it, it's one of those things where it's just like,
what is the vow?
Wait, hold on.
What's a vow? That's what you're doing. You're saying certain things. What is a vow? Explain that to me.
No, right. So I'll never cheat on you with a vow when you ain't married to me? What is that?
No.
What is that?
When you say your vow, you say to honor.
Right, but that's after the vow. That's after the vow, Sean. I'm not talking about after the vow. And after the vow, you are vowing that. But at the end of the day, if you break that vow, there are some people that say, hey, I'm gone, I'm out, I'm good. And then there are other people that say, I honored this vow because I made it with you and we're becoming one. But even if we're not one, I'm still me. So I have to honor what I said. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to say something and not come through.
Okay. That's a taboo statement.
And then but if that happens, you have to be accountable as well. I wanted to welcome Arpain. Arpain, how are you?
Fine.
Oh,
nice conversation. I hear you. Hello, gentlemen.
I miss you.
Who said that? Listen, just a good conversation. I kind of understand where you're already coming from, but I don't know about the vows are the most important thing when you get married, right? But the thing is, you got to make sure you believe them and your wife believes them. However that plays out in the future, you can't predict, but you can only do the best you can. Now, these days, there's people who can't even say the vows. And we already covered that. If you can't say the vows, you shouldn't get married. Not only should the man not marry a woman who can't say it, and vice versa, the priest or the reverend shouldn't marry them if they can't say the vows. He's not in my church.
Go ahead, Kenny. You were actually talking before.
You said, like, if I was that man, there are taboo statements you do not make. I will never cheat on you. What else could happen? There's certain things that you just don't do that. But Hank was making a very good point. But being premeditated doesn't change mistake from being mistake. The definition of it is an action or judgment misguided or wrong.
Well,
we put feeling attached that the word is not egregious enough. Like me coming to Precious, if I was married to your baby, I effed up. and put more relish on the hot dog so it can be more emphatic. It defines what it is. You just putting a feeling behind it that it's not hard enough. You're supposed to get at least 40 lashes and kick down the hill. Or something
Okay.
like that.
All right. So Sean, if you like to use mistake, do as you wish.
So let me ask you a question. Do you call it a mistake before the nut or after the nut?
Oh my God.
You putting a feeling.
Well, let me answer that question. Let me answer that question.
Wait, Sean, real quick. You just proved my point. You put emotion behind it.
Right.
I'm not even putting emotion. I'm just asking you. I'm asking a genuine question. Is the
Okay.
mistake
So you made a joke.
before
That's an emotional
the
statement.
nut or after the nut? Which one's the mistake?
Was it premeditated?
The whole thing was premeditated.
I know.
You quantify the mistake.
Make it or not.
Before
I got
the nut or after the nut. That's the question.
Okay, HD, let's go through this coloring book together. Still means an action or judgment that was misguided or wrong. Is mistake wrong being used to represent the infidelity? Go.
No.
Thank you.
But it's levels of this. You went over to the house, that was a mistake. You kissed the girl, that was a mistake. You went in, you put one slide, you said, whoop, this was a bad decision. Okay, you take it out and put it back in. So, and then you finish to the nut, right? So that's why I'm trying to figure out. Like, I understand that there's levels of forgiveness and grace and mistakes.
Hey, yo, Hink, remember the movie Trading Places?
From the top to the bottom, you know what I'm saying? You went from the front to the back, you turned it over, you pulled the hair. When you did all the things that was necessary for the experience to fully go to fruition, right? So in my mind, you know, listen, I agree with you. The definition is a definition. That's fine. But I'm saying, what are we really calling the mistake? Is it the mistake that he finished, or is it the mistake that he started?
The action or judgment being misguided and wrong. What you're doing right now is what Eddie Murphy did when he was in jail with the Barry White dude, the quarter blood technique. He got to stretch out the story. I beat up 15 dudes in the club, and this would have came to it. It is what it is. It's just not enough meat on the bone for you to say mistake is what it was. If you were the man who committed the infidelity and you loved your wife and you consoling in your boys, and you were like, yo, I got to go home. I got to make this right. I can't lose my wife. I got too much invested. We got kids. We got property. We got all this. I went out there. I gave some girl dirty D. I got to come home. I got to make it right. However long it take. I got to make this right. You can tell that whole story.
Not going right in there and
okay, hold on, HC. But like when you in front of that girl crying, snot bubbles coming out your nose, and you on your knees, baby, please. I mean,
we gotta be realistic. It's the real precious. Okay, we gotta reel it back in.
Hold on, okay, real quick.
That is not reality. No man is going home. No, I'm not saying no man. Forgive me for saying that. A lot of men are not going to go home after they raw dog Sally from accounting and come home and say, baby, please forgive me. I just cheated on you. It might take some time. But I don't know if it's happening, you know, so then we're going to add another layer to that mistake because now there's time. So if there is no time, and we coming right in with it, like, babe, wake up. Right now, we got to handle it right now. Because then when there is time, she's not going to think it's a mistake. She's going to think that we're talking about women here. She's not going to think like you're going to think. So she's going to think y'all been meeting up, y'all been texting, y'all been FaceTiming, y'all been sneaky linking. You've been sending her money. She's going to think all these things if there is time. I mean, she's going to think those things anyway. Let's be real. But it's not happening like you're saying is going to happen. Like we coming in and baby, please forgive me because I just made a mistake.
Well,
Real
to
quick,
your point, you're right.
Real quick, Sean.
Go ahead.
Precious, I initially said that no matter how long it takes, a woman is going to drill you, and you got to suck it up and go through that penance. I've seen it with friends, years on years, but they didn't leave. They took it. They did the church. They did the good boy. They was home. They realized what they had. Immediately, I agree with you, Precious. She probably stabbed you. She probably Kiki wired you. You got to go. But I agree with that. But it can happen.
Well, I was going to say it actually can happen because according to what Kenneth was describing with Margaret, that's what happened. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but so what measuring how it can happen?
She did it.
Anything can happen anyway. It can happen immediately. More than likely, it won't. To your point, I agree.
You can't compare the two, though, Sean.
I mean,
you can't compare it to because women will confess their sins before men.
That's bull crap.
Ooh, I don't think so.
Crap. Wait, stop that. No, we ain't letting that go. No, women do not confess to nothing quicker than men. No.
It doesn't have to be a verbal confession. But you will
I don't care how you measure it.
You will know. No, what I'm saying is a woman would tell you she cheated before a man, point blank.
Not true,
no, Precious. Let me say this. Let's just say this real quick. A woman will tell a man that first if she wants to actually end their relationship. A man or a woman, if she's finished with you, she'll tell you. Because let me tell you, I think women underestimate their vivid imagination.
She tells you before she says it out of her mouth. Okay,
yeah, but she's ready to leave.
You're the one that's not recognizing.
No, you're correct. But she's ready to leave. At that point, she's ready to leave because there's no better cheaters on the face of the earth than women, right? So let me just there's no better cheaters than women. If you let your man know that you're cheating, you want out. You really want out, and you just want him to be man enough to say it's over, so you don't have to take the burden at least of that. That's just the bottom line. That's the bottom line because a man kind of tacitly knows that if his woman is tied to him, he can get away with one ball pass or two. Because women do that because they understand that, you know what, I chose you because you were an alpha among alpha. So if you got a little bit of leg on the outside, I'm going to make you pay. You're going to pay penance for a long time, but you know what? I might not leave. Men kind of know a little bit of that. We kind of know that. But when a woman tells the guy that guy who thought he was an alpha his whole life, that she threw it down with Joe Blow. Oh, he's devastated. He's done. You know, listen, I'm just trying to give you a little game. Yeah, we ain't strong in that area. We're strong in all these other areas, but when our woman is spread eagle for another man, oh my God, you know.
If you're saying women are the better cheaters, right?
Oh, no doubt.
That means that you either don't know your woman or you don't pay attention to her because a woman cannot.
I hear we go.
She can. I don't know.
No. Let's take that threat. Let's pull that threat. I know where you're going with that.
That is not commonplace.
But I know where you're going with that. But if she's a good girl, you could tell the change because she won't be able to serve two masters.
Yeah,
but I hear where you're going. But most women that was in the past. I don't think the women today are just as cutthroat as men. They could put up their pants and walk out just like men do. That's doing it. They're doing it.
We don't want to dogpile her because it's a lot of guys up here, and it would be a little bit different if we have more female perspective. But women have what they call feminine intuition. They could change. They could detect the hue of difference in your aroma as soon as you walk in the house. They know your time frame. If you off a minute, King, you ain't no ninja. You think. A lot of women don't let you know because they keep it close to the vest. You could be, we are men of pattern.
That's how you know these hoes don't care about you.
Wait.
They're not paying attention to you. They're not
Let's take the gender off.
They're not caring for you in a way that only you care for them. So you know when it's different. Like you know when it's different.
Let's take gender off of it because we all know when it's different if we're paying attention to the pattern. Because we all are creatures of pattern, women as well as men. So it's not a gender thing.
Right, but when a woman is giving another man her time and things like that, if she's the same with you and still doing that, that to me, that is crazy.
Oh, they're making special women like that.
Oh my God, Precious, you're talking to men now.
Like literally going home and being this mommy maker, and then
it exists,
and you don't know anything.
Precious, it exists,
and you can't tell the difference. Kenny did say he wouldn't have known the difference if she didn't tell him. She told him.
And there's so many times you wouldn't know the difference if we didn't tell you. We just don't care that much.
We would know the difference. We just not going to tell you that we know the difference right away. Just like you're not going to tell us that you cheated right away.
No, we care less about you knowing the difference. That's why y'all able to catch us better. We're not as concerned with the consequences as y'all are. Let's just be real. The consequences that we're gonna get is, oh baby, please, we can get through it. We already understand that. The consequences that y'all feel, we might kill you.
No, oh Jesus Christ.
I mean,
but you know what? But Sean, she's partially right. You are partially right. But the truth of the matter is that we're in a different time now. Like, you know, in my day, I can understand I know my wife up and down. And so if I know she can't serve two masters unless she's a ninja. I know she can't serve me. So, but there's more ninja women now than ever. So I pity the fools getting married now. Because back in the day, the women were a little bit, you know, so all I'm just trying to say, but I
think without having to be an ass back in the day, you didn't have to ask. It was your clothes are ironed, your food is cooked, like, you know what I mean. You just knew, you know, the rhythm, the tempo of things. But now women want to be so, you know, and try and control things that men are like, you know, it's like we gotta get back to a certain tempo.
Oh, I agree with you. But the women today, some women, not all, some women today can go out and bust it for a real guy and come home and have the dinner on the stove for the husband coming home right when he gets to work. Even give him his slippers.
Precious.
Even give him his slippers. Right.
Precious, do not act like there ain't women out here like sunshine on Harlem Nights.
Absolutely, but you're trying to tell me that there's not men who can do it? There's men who can.
Men been doing
no
that.
Man can cheat better than no woman. The greatest wars in this world will fought over that thing.
That's not our superpower.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Being good is not a flex. That's not a flex. It's not a flex.
We're not saying it's a flex, but women do it better.
I hear what you're saying, but I mean, where men have been attempting to intentionally do it well, they're excellent at it.
Yeah, but just we can't
again. But to my point, the reason why they're not, because men don't worry about the consequences as much as the women do.
I agree with that part too, but that still doesn't make the exception.
The reason why you would think that a woman does it better, because she's concerned about consequences more than men. Women ain't really concerned with consequences. What's the worst that can happen?
That's why I told Precious that if a woman lets you find out, she wants to leave. If you're a man and your woman lets you find out that she's cheating, she wants to leave. Because let me tell you this, Precious. Let me add this: if you stay and you beg her and you stay with her, she'll never respect you again for the rest of your life.
I don't know about that, Perry.
She'll never respect you again. If you keep your woman after she busts it down for a dude, she'll never respect you again. Never.
Perry, we gotta put more caveat on that.
Okay, what's the caveat? What's the caveat?
It's not about her disrespecting you. It's about her disrespecting herself. And when
Most
she
women,
recognizes that she's disrespecting herself,
I want to hear Kenny's caveat because I know
in
he's going
my
to be up
opinion,
there.
most women don't cheat unless they're wronged.
Oh man,
In
come
marriage,
on!
in marriage, in
You giving them
marriage,
an out. Oh man,
in
get out of
marriage.
here.
I'm not talking unwed.
No, let's
Most
talk about
What are
marriage.
you
You're saying
saying?
they don't cheat
Women
unless they're
don't cheat
wrong?
first?
a woman initially cheating within a marriage is usually spurned on by something, either infidelity, and I can't find a stat. I'm gonna
No,
look it up
okay.
and get
Or
it to
she
you.
just can't be a bad woman.
So
That would be
every time y'all say cheat, though, man, y'all realize y'all just talk about sexually. Y'all not talking about the emotional cheating.
Right.
Y'all just
I
strictly
got
on the
to put that
physical.
in there. But
So
yeah,
you
sexual is
you have to you have to throw on it because if
Yeah.
your woman has a work husband, that's cheating. However you want to look at, that's cheating. If she has inappropriate conversation with
Yes.
somebody of the opposite sex or even the same sex, like, come on, it's 2024. We gotta say that too.
Yes.
If she's doing that, that's cheating. I don't. But why do we keep trying to leave that shit out like it doesn't happen? That's part of it. That's part of the mental process.
You're right, but that's
to get
one I
started.
might be
And
able.
so
I
that's
might be
what.
able to
Hold on,
recover from that one. Nick.
Calm down, old head. I got you.
I'm sorry, man, but I can recover from that
But
one.
that's how the stuff gets started. Like that's why I'm trying to figure out how y'all gonna call having sex with somebody else a mistake. That's a bad decision. The mistake was when you got the conversation initially started. That's the mistake. You made a mistake by having a conversation with somebody who's not your wife or your woman. That's a mistake. The bad decision came in when you chose to sleep with her.
making an action or judgment that is misguided or wrong. You still said that the end part of your statement that aligned with the definition.
Or was it
Even if it's
before or after the marriage?
premeditated, it still is what it is. It's just the effect.
I think that there are levels to it. I think that, while there's just like words that have synonyms, they're, like the word that we're talking about, but not necessarily the word.
So it's
So,
like lie and fib.
right. Synonyms. They're related. But,
funny, lying too.
one, just like you said, has the intensity that the other just doesn't have. So we'll roll it back to that, Kenny. You were right on that one. Good evening, the truth as I know it. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Good evening. Welcome to the panel.
Welcome. What's going on? This is a shaky conversation. This is very shaky. Who is that? Who's saying that old wild that nonsense? Is that Sean? That's Sean talking about his mistake.
Yeah,
is good.
Yeah, that was
good.
Sean.
It's point the other way, man. His homeboy Sean over here talking about this is a mistake. Like, I've been listening to this conversation, and y'all seem like very intelligent people. You really care about family. So I'm with the convo. But I think what I'm seeing is something that's emblematic of the Black community that is a massive problem that I think we all understand to be true. And that's that as Black people, we were never inherited a culture about building families that empowers men, that empowers women to come together, to be brutally honest, to practice radical honesty, to withhold values in ways where the culture does the talking for you. When you go out on a date and it's a first date and the culture says, if you're going to date a Black man, you're going to have to be respectable. You're going to have to be loving. You're going to have to be warm. You're going to have to be committed. And so before you even open your mouth, women know that's just what it is when you date a Black man. We didn't inherit that, and that's not Black men's fault, and that's not Black women's fault. But when I hear this conversation, I'm like, man, we are so far off the mark. And so when I hear this mistake, it's like, well, if your wife cheats on you, it's just a mistake. That's like, yeah, if you want to break open the dictionary and read out of the dictionary to try to mischaracterize treacherous behavior, sure, you can do that. But that sounds like somebody went to a therapist, a marriage therapist, and like, I got you, sisterhood, I got you. It was just a mistake, right? It's just a mistake. And it's like, no, that's treacherous behavior. That's so much more than just a mistake. And I think when I hear black men speak like that, I go, this is just more of that BS that just breaks up black families. I can't personally, it makes my skin crawl to hear that, because family structure is important. And as black men, I think we need to be more authoritarian about our own family structure. That doesn't mean dominating women or putting them in their place or treating them like doormats. I'm not saying that. I'm saying really speak strength to power when it comes to our own families. I think we need far more of that.
So
Does
he
that
just proved
sound
my
very
point.
familiar to how we responded to Jada Pickett when she chose to say entanglement? It is true. What she experienced was an entanglement. Yes, that's the definition of what transpired. However, the connotation of hearing entanglement versus the look on that man's face, he was like, I don't want no goddamn on entanglement. Well, I was, but I agree with you, brother. Sometimes it is true to call a spade, and also acknowledge that somebody is correcting as far as that's the definition. But we could add some extra weight so that people don't be out here all willy-nilly, out here sliding in and out, get the full nut, go get breakfast, lunch, take a shower, go to work, you living your best life after you done made this quote unquote mistake, because it's just a mistake. When you hear mistake, you're not necessarily feeling a massive weight of the decision that you cause or the issues that you cause with this situation, right? But if you say what you said, it's a treacherous betrayal, disrespect beyond measure, just despicable behavior. When you hear stuff like that, it make you like really recollect what just happened there. And even though it is true as a mistake, but I'm just saying, like, for it to be a mistake, I would say I understand that at the beginning, but once you continue to travel down the hill and then you pick up steam and you are able to get enough, and then you go back, I think personally, what I'm saying, I think that it is okay to be like, hey, listen, I understand what you did. I understand that it was an issue. You understand that it was an issue. But the second that you pulled out and went back in, don't be calling for intercourse a mistake. That was a full-on happy decision.
You know what's
So,
crazy?
so,
Y'all
so
are
let me,
building narrative.
let me just add a little bit to it, to my man, because I don't disagree, but that's why, you have to understand what your intention is with a woman. I just think that if you just want to be boyfriend and girlfriend, I still think a little bit of anything goes, because there's no commitment there. But if you're courting a woman for marriage, then that changes the dynamic, right? So it depends on what you're into. What you just said, HDTV, wouldn't fly if you're courting a woman that you're trying to tell and trying to convince that you're the man for her for the rest of her life. But if she's just your girlfriend or bust down, and you might even like her, then everything you just said is, I'm not going to argue with. So, I mean, there's layers to this shit. Well, okay, go ahead, Precious. I see you coming on. I don't want to. I'll land it right there.
Just to tie it back into the video. So hearing you guys talk and thinking about the video and how he's saying that, his wife really fought for the marriage. She fought harder than he saw his mom fight, harder than he saw her mom fight. Thinking about this, could it be that because certain things are defined certain ways and there's weight, certain people hold certain weight to certain things or use certain words, that there really is a confusion and mixed message when it comes to how we deal with each other in relationships? Because like I said, the outpouring of the comments were that why should women have, or wives have to fight to be in these relationships, or why should they have to struggle? And so just listening to this conversation, again, you have to be mindful and you have to be tuned in. Just listening to it there, like the Truth as I Know It came on, it was very distinct and said, you have to weigh things for what they are. And, every Hank is like, look, it ain't no mistake. You have to, use a different words. If there is confusion in how we weigh certain things, and, this is a panel of men, I appreciate you guys, but everyone has their own opinion. So in the dating world, and now you're getting married, and again, we're talking about the two becoming one, could it be that there are a lot of things that may not be defined, or maybe misconceptions of, a woman thinking it would be one way and a man thinking certain things should be another way because of the weight that we give certain things?
Can I say something?
Yes.
I'm going to get at it. I'm going to leave you guys with this, and I'm going to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
As black men, I want you guys to think of yourselves as family building warriors. And we're building a culture together. So you see guys get on the panel and they start simping. We got to call that out, man. Like, we got to boot them out, like cuss them out and boot them off. Like, we can't have any of that because everything went way too far left. And I'm not trying to be like an a-hole or be edgy or be, none of that. I'm dead serious, because when black men as a collective, when we go, well, if our wives cheat on us, we've got the shoulders to handle it. It's just a mistake. I'm like, bro, we're already in boiling hot water. We've been way too permissive over the last 50 years. So much so that women feel like they can say damn near anything to us. And all we're going to do is just chirp back like little birdies and just chirp back, and we don't say anything. And if we want a change, and I know all you brothers do, that's why you're here. We have to be way more authoritarian about that and stand and have a sounding board as a collective where we don't take that ish. Like, no, brother, it's not. It's far more than mistake. Like, you're right. Your point is right with the dictionary, and you should be able to. Hopefully, you can work that throughout your marriage. But we don't want any loose talk when it comes to our own families. We're talking about 50 years now that white folks, white women, especially black women, have been punking us when it comes to our own family structure. And we've sat back and mostly taken it. And it's time that we go, no, if you're going to deal with a black man, it's got to be like this. That's what I like about this panel. My last thing is that you guys are having a great conversation. There's no bickering. Precious isn't saying anything goofy. She ain't game goofy or none of that. And you guys are very respectful. I just want to put that on steroids a little bit and send the same message to black men that we're standing on business when it comes to family structure. I'm out of here. Later.
So with my man, Truth, as I know it, we need the simps on a platform like this. The reason why we need we get left. Okay, but sure the reason why we need them, because we need those for teachable moments. We need to be able to educate our sons and show them examples of what we're talking about, what you don't need to be doing and what you should be doing. Those guys are needed, just like these hoes are needed. These crazy ass heifers are needed. All those things are needed because we need to show examples to our children, to our kinfolk, to our cousins, our nephews, and our nieces. We need those examples so we can point out, this is what you're not going to be. This is what you're not going to do. This is not how you're going to act. This is not how you're going to carry on. Utilize those examples so you have something to show your kids and your family members and other young bloods who out here and young sisters who out here need to be learning and trying to figure it out. Don't do this. Don't do dumb shit like this. Don't act like this. Don't carry on like this. Do not dress like this. We need those. So I know my man said we should shame them and all that. You should. But at the same time, we still need them for the examples that they are.
I have a question.
You know what's crazy? Go ahead.
And then we're going to move on, okay?
Okay. So it is important what that man said before he left. But I think it's important that we have the dialogue over the definition, because we don't all have the same idea of what the issues are. Somebody might feel this way about the issues. Somebody might feel this way. And I wanted him to be here for a quick second to what was his definition of what a simp was. Because sometimes you go to different panels, different cities, different places. You got a different understanding or belief of what a simp is. So as Kenny brings up the fact of what the definition of a mistake is, it gives us a foundation on which we can judge certain things, right? So it sometimes gets kind of hard that when we're trying to hold people accountable and stuff, we don't got no foundation on what it is that we believe to be true. Now, I think a lot of us men here, we have similar like minds on what's a benefit to our communities, right? But there's still going to be points where we're going to veer off, and even the simple words like what Hank thinks a hoe is might not be the same definition I use as a hoe, right? And then vice versa. What I think is a person that is quote unquote a simp, and what Kenny thinks is a simp, this is a very different conversation. So I think that it is good for us to have the discourse that we had, because we have a definition so that we can remove some of our emotions, but we can also have discretion to where we need to turn up the intensity a little bit on certain issues.
So balance. You're saying that we need balance.
That
I'm
was
saying
AC,
you
that's
need to
why
figure
we
out is it before or after the nut.
put
right
your
on.
name, put a name
But
on that
AC,
bullet.
but
Who
AC,
you
that's why
calling simp and
we need
stupid?
them.
That's
That's
what he
AC. That's
came up
why
there
we
to
need
do.
them
It
up
wasn't
here.
me.
That's why we need those type of examples up here, so we can point out. That's an example of what we talking about. That right there, what he's doing, how he's acting, how he's carrying on, and what he's saying. That is that simp behavior we're trying to get rid of or trying to abolish.
He came up here and he even put a name on the bullet. But I knew he was talking to me.
No, he said Sean. He said Sean.
Nah. He said, this guy said he used mistake and that was stupid. And he said, we have to check
Wait,
these
Kenny.
simp behaviors that's on this panel. I made
Well,
sure he came
well,
first.
you both. To be fair, you both use mistake. So if you wanted to catch the stray, you can do that. Sean
Nah,
was using mistake when he said, talking about cheating and saying, well, he made a mistake. You also use mistake and said, hey, well, it doesn't show that intensity.
What?
So I think you both, used it.
Yeah,
what
but
he
the
did.
point is that if you're married and you forgive your wife for cheating, there's a special kind of cat that could do that. There's only I'll give them special. It could be positive or negative, but there's a special kind of cat, and I ain't one of them.
Okay, what are you
I
talking
know
about?
I'm not one of them.
That's
What
not
he
what we're
did.
talking about, bro.
What he did was throw a rock and
No,
hide his hand.
no, but no, hold on,
No,
Kenny.
I think
He said Sean. He called the name Sean out. He said Sean.
Well, I'm sorry I wasn't here because I would have definitely addressed him.
At the beginning.
Unfortunately, I didn't hear
Thank
him.
God.
wait. We're gonna move on, right? We're gonna move on. But
Okay.
this is an open panel. I think he just came on, gave his perspective. He feels as though that there needs to be men that stand their ground, that don't back down, that are leaders, that don't waver, that hold validity in words and things like that. Not saying that you guys don't, but what I'm saying is I think he just came on to give his perspective. Like if I were you, I wouldn't take anything personal, but I'm not you.
I'm not
But I do
taking
want
it
to move on.
personal. There were things that he said. That's why I leaned in and listened. He made 3 points. He initially started talking about Sean and such. Then he said Simps on this panel. He did say that. Then he said the stupid using mistake is stupid. That guy. Then he changed his language. Then he left rather than addressing the problem. Hink would know I address those things head on. I'm a big proponent of order. And
He didn't say this panel. He said these, and I think he just means YouTube in
okay,
general.
watch this. If I'm wrong, I'll cash app you lunch money.
Okay. All right. I ain't gonna turn.
I'm not taking it personal, but
Well, what's interesting?
What you want for lunch?
What's interesting is that I hear what he's saying, but Kenny made a great point when he pulled up the definition, and often we argue over context and definitions as opposed to over the actual thing. The reason why I use mistake purposely and intentionally is because I want to simplify instead of sitting there continuously arguing over the action and it's that everybody gets uptight about because they can't feel like it could happen to them. And I'm like, yo, let's just simplify it as what it really is. How much grace we give others or we take, or how much grace we need. Because a lot of us want a lot of grace when we make mistakes. But then when it comes to other people, they want to say, "Oh, nah, I can't do that. I wouldn't do that." But yeah, you condone the mistakes that the men, like you said earlier, Payne. You said, uh, if in fact you're married, you should stay. No, you should stay to your word, whether you married, whether you're not married, whether anything. You should stick to your word, and that's a problem
No,
that a
I
lot of us don't
disagree.
do.
I disagree. Your word
I
don't mean
understand you
shit if
do,
you
and
got
that's
a
why
boyfriend.
I'm pushing back.
All right. I guess
You put, is that a pushback? I just think the boyfriend and girlfriend
Tomorrow
thing
is
You're
Taco
not a
Tuesday.
teenager no more. It's all good.
Taco Tuesday.
What he said I meant is different than what he said.
come on
All right,
now.
guys.
You got that cash app.
I got no problem with it. You will hear him say this panel.
Okay. Alrighty.
Man, you got to send that cash app.
Get over it, Kennedy.
Hey, now Kenneth, I will send you my cash app. I will screen record you the segment and send it to your IG. He said these, not this. I'll send it to you.
Penny.
Nah,
All right.
I wanted that money.
1347 at Chipotle. Thank you.
I was
Appreciate it.
trying to tell you, Kenny. Like,
listen,
you
I got
know.
no problem doing
Can I
that.
put
I
my
know
cash app up here too, Kenny?
So that means if I could do that, he was disingenuous when he came up here. He came up here to make shots.
Kenny, come on, Kenny.
But how are you
Yeah,
going to tell
okay,
the
that's
man
the
his
same thing.
intent, Kenny?
That's the same thing. That's the same thing you did when Crumb Cookie was calling me out my name.
You sell it. See, you
That's
did
the same
Patty.
thing you was doing.
We don't know about that one. We don't know about that one. We don't know about that one.
He came up here. Watch this. The last thing I'm gonna say about it. He said treachery because mistake was not good enough. Did he not say that?
Oh, it's definitely treacherous behavior.
Yeah, I mean,
So it goes that alludes to my point. The word is not egregious enough to match the act.
Exactly.
So that's an emotion.
well, hold on.
Yeah,
Come on,
but in all
can I say
fairness,
this to
he
Kenny's
did
point?
specifically
Can I say
say
this to
that he
Kenny's
was
point?
coming for Sean.
Can I
We
say this
also
to
got to
Kenny's
think how
point?
serious cheating is. It is. It's not like it's a small thing because there's a lot of steps you have to go to in order to get there. So why are we acting like it's not fitting for using those type of words?
Because, let me
Throwing
answer that.
mistake on it. Hold on, let me finish, Sean. Throwing the word mistake on it is like a small thing. It's like oh, no big deal. It happened. It's okay. No, man. For somebody to do that, like myself, that is probably the worst thing you can do. You're dishonoring. You're disrespecting the person. You have not taken them in consideration. You're lying and you're being deceitful. There's a whole lot to go into that. I don't know. I know y'all good hosting church going people. Y'all never cheated on your significant others, your girlfriends, your whatever the case may be. I understand. I did do those. I did make that bad, selfish, disrespectful type decision. And a lot of things went into me in order to do it. Whatever you want to call it, I got to accept it because I did it. I'm going to leave it there.
Okay. All I'm saying, to Kenny's point, we continue to get our emotions involved when it comes to specifically that act of cheating. And I'm like, yo, get your emotions involved. Get your emotions involved about lying. Get your emotions involved about doing all
Sean,
of
you can't make that argument. You can't make that argument about emotions and sex. But we're gonna move on because we're talking about Love Is Blind tonight. Okay, we're actually let's save that for another show. How about that? How about that?
Right on.
Sex and love, emotions can't detach. I think that'll be a good one. Okay, that'll be a good segment for another show. Yeah. So we're getting to Love Is Blind. Because AD and Clay are all over social media because, well, let's just watch it because I don't know who has seen it, who hasn't seen it. So I'm going to show the video first and then we're going to circle back.
I appreciate you and I know that you will fight for me and we'll let it work. I know, but I can't say yes right now. I'm sorry, Eddie. I'm sorry about it. But why does it matter, like, with the time? Why does that matter?
Clay, don't do that. Okay.
So as you can see, he says no, and he asks, "Why does the timing matter?" And she says, "No, don't do that."
We good? Come on, baby. Thank you. You're so very welcome. Thank you. You're beautiful. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there because of the music. Let me see. All right, I think the rest of it is music. I do have other clips, but just from watching that, has anyone watched Love Is Blind and know what's going on in this season?
No.
Actual
No.
Smith?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, I have.
HD has. Kenny, you? No.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
No?
I
Okay.
understand the premise. I just ain't seen the season.
All right, so it's a experiment, a dating to marry experiment where you sit in these pods and you don't get to see the person that you're talking to on the other side of the wall, and you're supposed to connect with them emotionally and spiritually and not know what they look like. Well, Clay and AD hit it off right away. They just had this vibe about them where at first AD had like this very, I don't know, it's because she's a dancer or a cheerleader. They have those cheery voices. I don't want to say her voice was like fake, but it was very, very low, very calm. And, you maybe you could pass her for a white girl if she was talking to a certain guy. But with Clay, she was AD. She was herself. She was very comfortable with him. So they hit it off and end up going throughout the experiment with one another. And so we get to the very last episode and you see this love blossom from both of them, but there are red flags throughout the episodes that we'll bring up throughout this discussion. But at the end, he ultimately said no to her, that he wasn't going to marry her. And of course it left her in tears, walking off with her family. So my first question to you guys before we get further into this, would you go on a show like this? Would you go on a Love Is Blind, Married at First Sight, would you go on a show like that if you really were trying, eyes wide shut, if you really were trying to look for love and be serious about it?
I would.
Okay, so Payne, what would you have to have set already in order to commit yourself to this show?
I probably would have been celibate for at least 6 or 9 months.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because I think most of the problems that we have today is that most men are looking at women like pork chops. So all they want to do is have sex with them. Their heads are cloudy, so they can't see clearly. All I could go is by my own anecdotal experience when I found my wife. The only reason why I found her is because I was clear. I had, any girl who wanted me, I wanted them. I shunned everybody for like 9 months. So when I met my wife, I could recognize her. That's this chick is different from me. A lot of people don't believe that shit, but I believe it. But I would like a show like that, just for not just for the entertainment value, but I'm a frat boy. I would like the challenge. But if I was really looking for a wife and I was ready and she appeared, yeah, it's just almost as good a place as any, especially these days. It's but I applaud that guy because obviously he saw something that nobody else saw on TV. But that's another story. I
Yeah,
would
but
have got on it.
Okay.
it sound like you would have went for the game. You not going for nothing serious.
Yeah, well, no. I would have went for the game, but that doesn't mean I would have to take it. I
Yeah,
could have taken. Wait, hold on. I could have took it seriously. I mean,
how?
listen.
You
No,
know
no,
that you
well,
went for the
let me.
game.
Can I
You tried to
explain?
put attention. That don't
Hey,
sound
can I
fair.
explain? You kicking my ass? Can I explain?
I got to.
Because
It's
I
crazy.
think nobody could dictate where you can find love.
I
You
can
can't
agree.
tell me that's in the church. You can't tell me it's in the club. You can't tell me it's on the street. You can't tell me it's in Starbucks. And you can't tell me it's on a stupid game show.
Okay, so you're saying even if you're in an environment where you're supposed to cultivate a relationship for love, you still might not find it, is what you're saying.
That's right. Or
Gotcha.
you could. Or you could.
Right, right,
How
right,
do I know?
right.
If my head is
Right,
clear,
but
but go ahead.
yes or no, would you do it or no? Yes or no?
I said,
You
yeah.
would.
Oh, you asking me again? Or somebody else?
You would, right?
Yeah.
Okay. HD?
I'm torn because I don't feel like marriage should be entered in haphazardly. I think it should be something that should be strongly considered. And I think the period is a little too short. I would need it to be a little bit longer for me to consider something like that because I'm deciding to choose you for eternity, hopefully. Right.
Mhm.
And I don't think that any marriage that you enter in uh without being sober, one, and also being able to like understand the full weight of marriage, whether you believe it's holy matrimony or not, I think that it requires a little bit more time. Now you can see somebody that you believe is, a reasonable bet, right? But at the end
Right.
of the day, you're taking a risk. And I think that's the reason why we have the divorce rates or the relationships that we have in the US is because people's perception of what marriage is skewed. Some people say that, men aren't being trained to be husbands. The men are saying that women ain't trained to be wives, and we're both entering into a union as two separate people. If you're 25 years old and the woman is 25 years old, you guys spent 25 years apart being yourself and doing what you want to do. Now you're going to willingly choose to be in a union with somebody who has more experience being by themselves and doing what they want to do more so than doing what you want them to do. And then you wonder why there's so much friction in relationships. So I say I'm okay with the premise of being a part of the process, but I think it would be hard for me to want to marry a person in the short amount of time without, yeah, I need more time personally.
So the answer is no.
Yeah, that was a long version of the same word. Man, that was goddamn HD.
So I
Well,
ran into a girl.
with mistakes, he needed a better word.
I ran into a girl on TikTok and she put up the stipend and what they get for being at these shows or being in the show and the different dimensions of the show. So for the pods, they get 5,000, and I believe that they're in the pods for 10 days. King, I believe
Yeah.
it's 10 days they're in the pods, right?
Yep.
And
10
so then
days.
there are getaways, which are 2,500, which is the honeymoon that they go on, I believe, like right after they say I do, right? So literally the day after. And then reality is when they meet each other's families, they meet each other's friends, they move in together, and they live with each other. I believe that's the 4 weeks, right? And then there's the wedding that they get paid $1,000 for, right? So they get paid $5,000 for the pods. The getaways is $2,500. Reality is $3,000. The wedding itself is $1,000, and the reunion is $1,500. And from my understanding, there's only one lady not coming to the reunion because she's she's working, doing something else. So for the wedding, they get paid the least. I always forget how to do this. They get paid the least for the wedding.
It's incredible.
Even though that's the culmination of what we're here for.
Man, the networks should be ashamed of themselves. That there's, I can't believe the millions that they're pulling in. That's all they're gonna pay these poor suckers.
What did they add up to? I counted 13,000. Is that 13? Am I wrong?
I believe
Just
it
if you
was
get to the end.
And that, like you said, that's if you get to the end, right?
And that's only two people.
And then it's like the wedding is the wedding, so that means you're standing up there up on the altar, which means whether you say I do or I don't, you still getting paid.
Yeah, so 13,000 for 2 weeks of work. Okay.
For two people.
That's 13,000 a person.
No. You won't reach to the end. So only two people reach to the end.
I know it. She gets it. He gets it.
We're talking about network TV that makes millions of dollars.
We understand that, man. We don't understand.
No. I don't think you do. That's crazy.
No, we do.
We're just putting it out there.
How much money you think people get like on their first movie they ever started? You think they got a million when they came in and did a first movie?
We ain't talking about a first movie.
It's your first time ever doing something like that.
That's a travesty of justice, and you get what you get.
Okay, well, talk to your union
You
rep.
bump that up by 20,000 on each level, then I can see the game is a real game.
Talk to your union rep and see what he can do
you
for
can walk away from that easy, man. You offer me a grant.
Talk to your union rep and see what he can do for you, Arpain.
Y'all both have valid points. It is low, but it's more than any of them are getting for 2 weeks.
Break. I'm old, I'm decrepit. You can consider me George Biden and shit, whatever the fucking guy's name is. See, I don't even know his name.
But you gotta realize,
and you kicking my ass. You ageist. You're ageist.
In fairness to your point, you're right. It is kind of low, but that formula isn't contingent on any of those people. You could put in a mix and match any person in there who wants $13,000, and that's the unfortunate reality of why it's so low. But I agree, it is very low. But 13,000 for 2 weeks. I mean, you ain't getting that nowhere else.
That's horrible exploitation. Offer me 50 grand.
Agreed.
Don't sign up for it, man. Damn.
Well, I wanted to sign up for it. If she would have shown me the numbers first, I would have said no.
But Payne, here's the other attributes. Each of them now, if they know how to utilize the platform television, now have a career that they can create because of it. So it lends. They can do appearances. They can do talks, interviews. They can chart. So there's a lot more that you can do if you understand the magnitude of everything. And so you might take that 13 and take the, and let the network do what they got to do. So you could now.
Well, you know what? There is a possibility of getting laid in that 13 grand, so that's not bad,
So that's all you worried about?
Yeah. Why would
Precious's?
God damn.
Precious's question. We've only got through two of the people.
I might think 13 grand might be a good deal. And now that I'm thinking about it, I was against it until you guys beat my ass and made me change my mind.
Yeah, your old ass is crazy.
Arpain, you are muted.
I will not do it.
Great panel, Precious. Thank you for letting me come.
All right, so pretty much y'all wouldn't do that. Kenny, did you answer? Would you do the show?
No, I still would do it, no matter what. I think it's interesting.
Man, come on, man. Hit that mute button.
Nah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you value yourself in something like marriage that you deem secret, $13,000 so that you could be exploited, so a company can make millions, and then for that to happen to that girl the way it did, even I don't know if it was scripted or what have you, that type of embarrassment, you might as well just get the free meal like they used to do on Jerry Springer and the plane flight and stuff like that. Is just on a higher level. Nah, if you're my wife, I'm not doing that. Or you're somebody I'm interested, I'm not doing it. I'm not putting myself on public display for comedy. No.
Okay.
I applied for Love is Blind DC a year after my divorce. And
Did
my
you?
reason for yes, I did in 2020. It was early 2020. And my reason for doing it was I had stood in front of a mirror and said, "Well, if I didn't pick right the first time, maybe a panel of experts can help me do it right the second time." So that was my rationale. I did not get picked, and I think it was I'm not entirely too sure, but I don't think Married at First Sight had ever had any previously married people on their show. And then B, it would have been bad. Like I wouldn't have made it past the vetting process anyway, because I wasn't in a spot to even be thinking about that kind of stuff a year after my marriage. But I did apply. I wouldn't do it now.
What do you say to Kenny for shaming men who want to be on there?
You said something.
I like
I
how
don't
you
think he
tried to be a provocateur just now.
I don't think
that was on purpose, brother. I'm sorry.
I don't think he shamed anybody, but similar to something that you said, Arpain, I do agree with. I think that you can find what you're looking for if you choose the right avenue, whether it be the club, whether it be in church, whether it be at a barbecue. I think that there are avenues that you can find something. I do also think that there's some positives that go along with it, in that most of the parties, if they're genuine, they're going there to look for that because it's stated that that's what the purpose is. Now, I won't say too much about Clay because I think Clay pulled a bitch ass move, but you're going on that show to look for marriage, and some people are ready for it when they get there, and some aren't. So I'll let my plane right there.
Well, he should have never let her get to the altar if he wasn't going to do it. I agree with that. I do agree with that.
There's stuff that I think that Precious is going to show that it's despicable.
So this says AD and Clay's relationship was the most realistic example of modern dating I've seen on television in a long time. It's bleak out here.
Jasmine,
and
Jasmine with nothing.
I saw that. So a little bit more background on the two, right? So she was a dancer. She cheerleader. So she's been around the elite. She's been with per her words, she's been with ball players, ladies, men. So that's what she's used to, right? So this is her talking about Clay.
The walking red flag. I mean, from the moment I met him, it was red flag, red flag.
Okay.
Clay is a walking red flag. I mean, from the moment I met him, it was red flag, red flag.
Right. So within the journey of them getting to know each other, she said that she was worried that he was a ladies' man. She felt as though that he was a ladies' man, right? She went there to go outside of what she usually dates. And she said that she classified herself as a city girl. She had a connection with this white guy named Matthew. But then Matthew turned out to be a liar. So then now she reverted her attention back to Clay, right? And then when she told Clay about being with Matthew, Clay blew up on her. Like, what do you mean you feeling somebody else? I need you to let me know right now if it's me and you, because I've been rocking with you and I just need reassurance. That's the word he continuously used, reassurance and validation, right?
Yeah.
So seeing that little clip of her saying that he was a red flag since the beginning, it's almost like AD knew it's almost like I'm going to go through this and I know that we're not good for each other, but I'm going to go through the motions. I think a lot of women get stuck in that like assembly line of not being real, and I'm not saying like don't fight for your relationship and things like that, but it's like, and this is an experiment, but she knew the things that he was going through. And I think to not be alone, because she only had the other guy, Matthew, she didn't make any other connections. If you go throughout the whole show, I don't remember her. King, do you remember her having any other connections?
Mm-mm.
I remember
Nope, it
him,
was
and
those
then
two.
Matthew, the guy who was just telling everybody everything. I don't know, or maybe it was levels to it. I don't know. But from what they were saying, he was saying verbatim the same things. So she goes from, that life, meets Clay. And when they say I do, when she said I do, even I wish I had the clip, he mouths no to her. He mouths no to say, like, I'm not gonna say yes. He asked her for more time. Why does this have to be the time? Right? Knowing that this is Love is Blind. Do you guys think that he was wrong in saying no to her? Because I know there is an indifference from people who think that he was justified in doing it, and people saying that he did her dirty.
Well,
Because
let me start first because if you watch the show leading up to it, it was produced really well, but there were several segments in which he's saying, I'm ready. I'm ready to. He's talking to his homeboys. He's talking to his dad. He's talking to his mom. He's standing there. It looked like he was solid about making that decision. And then when you got up to the altar, they had her speaking first, and they had like the little interactions, and it seemed like he was real solid. You heard her say comfortably, I do, just straight up, I do. And this dude looked like he was about to sit there and agree to do the same. And it wasn't until when he said anything besides I do, absolutely, or yes, he uttered like this whole sentence first and then said no. That's when I'm like, oh, this is about to be bad. So when you know you're going on that show and you're getting to a timeline that this is what you have to get up to, there are plenty of checkpoints to say, I'm not sure that I want to do this. So to do it at the altar is deplorable.
But before anyone else goes, I'm sorry. I do want to play this because you said it at the perfect time. And the only Clay to me was very double-minded, and he showed it throughout the show. But I'm gonna play this clip.
Oh God.
Like I try to stay present in the moment, of everything, and I'm really enjoying my time. I guess I don't know, I really don't want to let you down. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel that. Like,
Is that what you're thinking?
yeah.
You're gonna let me down?
Not that I'm going to let you down. I just don't want to. Because it is a date that's coming up. You know what I'm saying? And I know how much this means to you and all that stuff. And I want to be that guy. And I'm like trying my hardest. It's just, I just sometimes get in my head.
What is like the biggest roadblock? Or
No
like
roadblock.
the biggest
It's not even a roadblock. Like,
Yeah.
I'm loving everything we got going on. Like, with this trajectory, we're good. So,
What just happened?
nothing. I'm good. I'm just thinking, man. I'm good. Like, I'm good.
Okay.
We're good. Like, it's just thinking about everything, and it's just like things coming at you at once. It's just how the human brain works. Like, it's just that's a lot.
That was just like such a crazy around looking and saying let you down after.
No, I didn't say I'm gonna let you down. I don't want to let you down.
Right. Well, okay.
It's different. Like,
Okay.
Okay. So I'm sorry, guys. It was a little low. I hope you guys heard it. Were you able to hear it? I'm sorry. I didn't
Yeah, it was
realize.
kind of hard to that damn Pain laugh because he
I'm
don't
sorry.
have to mute.
Listen, I thought I was on mute, man. I'm sorry, man.
Well, look, I would have, man, everything about that show sounds crazy. There's no way I could do a show like that. And look, the guy went through it because he's trying to get that money. That's the main reason why he said, "Look, I'm ready to get all the way. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get this 13,000. Even though I embarrassed her and told her no, I'm still gonna be at the reunion because I need my 1,500 because I want my full allotment. I done took 2 weeks off of work or 3 weeks, whatever the case may be. I got to get this bread. I took 2 weeks of vacation time to do this shit. I'm gonna go and get my money. I think it's probably his mindset. I went this far. I might as well go and finish it out. And will that look a little bit embarrassing for her? Yeah, maybe so. But at the same time, we could both come out ahead because, like I said, we can get the opportunity to be on somebody's sit down talk show and talk about how we could do that and explain ourselves and do a whole reality show on it.
Wow, and it's funny you say that, Hank, because when they sat down with his mother, one of AD's complaints was that he worked a lot. And AD or Clay specifically said, well, when we got back, I got right back to work, but she ain't working. Like now that you're saying that, I'm remembering that conversation and, so you're right. It's like because he does boats or, I forget exactly what he does, but boats he said he was bringing back boats I don't know. But you're right. I think it was, I'm not quite ready and I'm not obligated to say yes, but I'm still going to get paid if I say no.
That's right. So, Press, I'm real quick. Let me listen. The point is, you can't marry anybody if you have those kind of doubts on either side. She said all those red flags, but she's a big walking red flag as well. They're both red flags. Now, 13 grand, I'm not a rich man, but 13 grand ain't making or no breaking anybody, right? So, he was wrong by bringing her to the altar. But the truth of the matter is, she should have never went to the altar with a man like this because she understood his doubt. She saw it. And if you women keep talking that bullshit about your intuition, she saw it. It was slapping her in the face. So she still was gonna go through it. I would have disqualified her only for those eyelashes. The eyelashes would have made her like a persona non grata for me. But I still would have played the game. I thought she was cute. She didn't need the eyelashes. She should just been herself. But that's another story. But all I'm just trying to say is that she came on talking about red flags, and she's the last person with the kind of history she had to talk about red flags. And him, he should have never got to the altar with her, knowing that he wouldn't marry her. That's the problem I have. So both of them were kind of being dishonest with each other, and I don't like that. And I see it. I saw it. Both. I'll end it there.
So, Press, can I ask you a question? When she
Yes.
said that, said he had a bunch of red flags. Was that after the wedding situation, or was that prior?
That was
I
prior
want
to
to
the
say
wedding.
that was prior to the wedding because they do like
Yeah.
these promo or trailers and stuff for the show. So that was one of those ones that was like gelled in and it goes to like another scene real quick or whatever like that. It wasn't like something that was like explained.
So I nothing about her I could take serious. Everything about her is fake. Like you said, with the eyelash wig and all that makeup, everything's fake. If you seen all these red flags and yet you was willing to say I do and ready to be with this man for a lifetime, yeah, you sound crazy. Now, if you said it prior after the situation, you probably said it because you bitter and mad because he told you no. But you said, and it's happened before, and you still was ready to go through it. Your decision making is horrible.
Well,
it's crazy because it's crazy how things happen and things come about because again, she had a connection with the guy, Matthew. He was a white guy. He was into country rock. He was totally opposite of her. It seemed like they had a connection, but then again, he lied to everybody. So I don't know what his end game was, but he did say that he was into her. So I don't want to say that the man is lying. He could have really been into her. He actually left.
Were they romantic?
No, they're sitting in pods, so they can't even see each other. So so he was very direct. He was very into her, very different from Clay, but again, he lied, and the lie brought out something in AD in that she didn't have a close relationship with her dad. But she wouldn't have known that if the other cast member didn't tell her the same things that he was telling AD. So that goes to show you too that although, women grow up and, she is a cheerleader and she does sports and she does well for herself. I think she was a real estate agent. It goes to show you that when you're used to a certain thing, and we were talking about this earlier, but when you're used to a certain thing, you literally have to change your mind about it. And I don't think that AD was ready to change her mind about it, because although she couldn't see Clay, she was still very attracted to him. And she was attracted to Matthew, but it wasn't the same. And if anybody watched the show, you would know what I mean. It was very slightish, offish, but it was almost like she was kind of forcing herself to like him a little bit. So it was like she was attracted to that. And to me, it didn't seem like AD wanted to change her attraction. She knew what she was attracted to. She called herself a fix-a-hoe. Like, she made comments where it was just like, when you go into something saying things and almost talking yourself into certain things, it's like, why are you surprised at the at the outcome? Excuse me.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that we have the ability to have a little bit more context because we can watch both sides in real time. But I do think I agree with the fact of you see problem, you ignore problem, and then you put yourself up in there. And this is the stuff that people be crying about all the time. It's just like, yo, like, you got the problem staring you right in the face, and you know it's a problem, and then you get mad when the problem smack you in the face. Like, listen, I personally don't think it's wrong to tell this person no, right? But if you've been telling this person yes this whole time, you just been saying yes, 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 yes. I understand how that can get people riled up and feel some type of way. But also, I think there's a difference between, because the whole premise of the show is love is blind, right? Love can be blind, or how you care about a person doesn't have anything to do with how they look or, anything like that. But sometimes when you see a person and you see the lifestyle that they live or the thought processes that they have, you can make a shift in your thought process based upon the information that you're receiving. So, like, I don't think she was the worst looking person, but if you told me that she said that she was a city girl, I'm like, absolutely not. And that has nothing to do with her appearance. That has nothing to do with anything like that. But like, this is what I was saying earlier. Women's idea of getting in relationships and getting married is different than the actual weight of it. Because as you guys said, she's willing to choose things she knows is a problem just so that she can get married, which is another reason why I said I'm kind of like I would be torn about getting on the show, because I'm just like, it doesn't matter about the money. What it matters is I'm going here to make a commitment, and I don't really have a lot of time to really make that decision. Whether it's a month or two, I mean, to me is irrelevant because I'm willing to marry you, then travel and do stuff. No, I'm not doing
Kenny, what do you think?
Body language, communication is 90% body language, 10% what you say. You could tell by his body language. You didn't even have to hear the words that he wasn't really interested in her like that. And he had a conflict there. But at the end of the day, you're in there to win a game. That's what it seemed like. I'm going to get all my money, no matter how I got to play it out. I don't know how the script and the context is behind that. But his indecision right there, she felt it. She knew what it was. I don't know if that's written into the script or if it's just natural. Let them flow and then see how it pan out. But you knew he didn't want to marry her from that conversation he was having on the bench, and she was asking him them questions. And then it gives more context right now. If he's laying there thinking about it, I'm gonna just get the money and just deal with the consequences. But I'm gonna get my check. Then I'll see if I can re-up at the reunion. Why you do that? Get another check. I didn't see any symbolism of love
About
right
that
there.
money.
It's about that money.
Yeah, because attraction was a big thing for him. I think between attraction and him fearing he was going to be like his father. So his
Yep.
father, there was infidelity in his parents' relationship, and I believe he was there to witness some of the infidelity, and so it's really ingrained in him. And I don't think that he's really gotten healing and things like that. There's a very, very, very powerful. If you don't watch any part of it, I would say definitely watch the last episode, because his mother and his father, who were divorced, had a very powerful conversation in which she pretty much tells him, like, hey, look, we're divorced. I love you. This is our son. But he holds a lot of that trauma because you never addressed it with him. You never, were accountable for it. And there were a lot of things said back and forth that I don't want to give any spoiler alerts, because it was really powerful. So I just got to hit you.
But Precious, she did drop a bar. Do you think it's appropriate to say that
Go ahead.
bar?
Go
All
ahead.
right, she dropped a bar because she said all of that you just said to her ex-husband, and then the ex-husband said, well, when he finds a good woman, he'll change his ways. And she looked at him, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but she was like, you had
You
one,
had a
and
good
look
woman.
what you
You
still
ain't treat
did.
her right. You ain't treat her right. She did kind of, but it wasn't. But the crazy part about it, King, was it wasn't like it was to stab him or to make him look bad in front of a camera. It was to say that we're seeing, excuse me, in real time how this plays out.
I agree.
And if you want to continue to be a part of that, we all going to see that. So even if they didn't get married, Clay needed this. Like he about that money, he gonna work. There are certain things about men when they got certain principles that those things don't waver. But certain things fall by the wayside when you don't address certain things. And so I think for him, and she says she feels like he was the sacrifice. There should have been something for her to learn too, because she wasn't perfect going in. But I think for him, in that scene of a black father, and a black son and a black mother and a broken family, you didn't see that too much with her side. Her mom was just happy go lucky, like, yeah, child, that's a good man. Get with that man. Be with that man. That was her mom the entire time. And not to say that Clay is a bad person, because he's not. But there were things that he definitely had to work on. And 4 weeks, I don't disagree with him saying no if that really didn't do anything for him to say, I want to marry this woman.
So, Precious, let me ask you a question. Is there anything that anybody doesn't have to work on when they first get married?
You have to work on everything when you first get married. I would agree with that. I do believe though that you as a person have to become one with the things that happen to you, and when you don't do that, the people that are good to you and that are trying to love you will understand that it's not me, it's you. Not to say that you're the perfect person, but you can't force someone into the next step when they haven't taken the first step.
No,
Like,
yeah, no, I agree with you. All kind of a trick question. What I'm trying to say is that everybody who gets married has to realize going in that there's some stuff we agree on because we know about it because we vetted each other as best we
Mhm.
can, and then there's stuff we have to learn about each other. Now, it always comes down to the things that you learn. Do they elevate themselves to the position that I can't live with? right? And if you're a good vetting process, you minimize those things because you've kind of eliminated them because you found the person you want and she found the person she wanted. If I'm a man, so all I'm just trying to say is you never have all the answers. So
Right.
marriage is a risk mitigator. You try to minimize your risks going in. However, it's the man has to take more responsibility than the woman because he's the gatekeeper for
But
marriage.
would he would have been irresponsible, like he said, because he did mention finances. This is such a small, crammed in. Like if you haven't watched it, there were things that were critical, and as a man, if he would have said yes, would he? I guess there's no right or wrong answer,
No,
but
you're right. Though.
if
You're
you're
on the right
going to be
track.
a leader and you know that you're not ready, you know that you're not ready, sometimes your reality will hurt somebody.
No,
Like
you're
your
right.
realness, your reality is going to hurt somebody.
Precious.
I
He's
agree with you. Let me
due.
just say this. I agree with you 100%. I'm gonna end right here. It's he's at fault for getting to that altar if he wasn't ready. There's no way around that. He is absolutely responsible for the outcome of that situation. Because if he wasn't ready, he should have been man enough to tell her, hey, before all the embarrassment, before all of that stuff, before the extra $1.5 grand, he should
I
have
don't
told her, listen,
know.
I can't do
I
it.
don't
I'm
know.
telling you.
He's
That's
damned
how
if
I
he.
look at it.
I see exactly what you're saying, but I think sometimes there's beauty when you go through the process. Like you would have wanted to all the pain and all of that to have been avoided, right? Of course, we would want the pain to be avoided, but I think seeing it play out like that post said is very modern day. You know what I mean?
Can he was damned if he do, he was damned if he didn't. Can we give him some props for actually being honest? Because what happens is that he might have been honest a little bit later, what have you, but if he would have went through it and then became honest after, he's still damned. So he's damned if he do, he's damned if he don't. So at this point, it's like if he would have went ahead and got married and then decided that it was horrible decision and or mistake, as we said earlier, and now he looked at as a villain. So I mean, you have no wins in that situation. For him to stand up and just take the L at the point when he took the L, money, whatever the case may be, he took the L. He's now the laughing stock, the embarrassment. He's getting ridiculed.
Did he get 1,500? Did he get the extra 1,500 at the
I
end?
mean, that the money to me is a light.
No. Did he get the extra 1,500? Yes.
If he showed up, he showed up. He got
The
paid.
reason
So
I say that,
So the point is that he embarrassed this woman because he wanted $1,500.
what? Okay, well,
You know,
you
so the
state
dude's
that's the
wrong,
point.
man. I'm
That's
not.
the
And you know
point.
what? I want somebody to call me a simp too.
Okay.
Men are responsible. We are the gatekeepers of marriage.
And,
It's us. This
hey,
guy
can
failed,
somebody,
man. He
can
should
I
have
finish?
never
who wasn't the
embarrassed that woman.
gatekeeper in that
Hey, can
situation?
I finish my point? As a gatekeeper, he made the decision to say no. Can you give him credit for that?
No, he
Regardless,
should have never gotten to the altar.
well, he got there, and when he was there, he said no. He didn't go through the wedding.
He
You
should
gotta
have
give him
roasted
some
in
credit.
hell.
He got there. All right, cool. He went all the way through, like we was talking about today. He went all the way to the nut, and he got. And then he decided, you know what? This is a mistake.
I would drink that $1,500 away so I could
I
get
think
over it.
personally it was the eyelashes. It had nothing to do with anything else. He's been looking at them eyelashes. He's looking at them at the table, and then he got to the altar. And he's like, "Oh, they're extra now," and it's with a white dress, and so it amplified the eyelashes even further. He was like, "I can't do this. I thought I could."
Yo, Sean, you killing me, man. The eyelashes are horrible, but that's sweet.
So do you guys think so Payne says he shouldn't have done it the way that he did it.
Absolutely.
What about you, HZ? Do you respect the way that he did it? Do you think that he shouldn't have did it that way?
I think it sucks either way. It would have been better overall for both of them if he hadn't did it at the altar. But ultimately, I still agree. He has the right to make that decision whenever he feels comfortable. Does that make you feel good? Does that make him look bad? And it makes her look bad? I mean, yeah, but live with the consequences of your decisions. I think that I think they both knew before he got to that point that there was a problem. And
Right.
she could have walked off before she got to that point. But I'm guessing maybe she thought that he would have a change of mind. Like, why would he come up here to say no? She might have had one of those moments. But ultimately, listen, they both understood that that's not the decision they wanted to make.
That. And I got a
So
question.
I just think
You
it's
ever heard of?
I just think it's the delusional mindset of some women who think they can change a man who doesn't want to be changed. Look, if a man set in his way, he's gonna set in his way. He's not willing to change. It's nothing. You give him all the ass you think you can give him. You can kiss on him and compliment all you want. Don't mean he's going to change his mindset. You're not going to change a man if he doesn't want to change. I gotta want to change. Ain't nothing you could tell me is going to change my mind, or my ideas, or the way I feel. I gotta want to make that change. Look, this woman's crazy. I don't have no problem with the way it happened because it's all on television. It's going to be embarrassing regardless. I don't care if I did it while we sitting at that damn table outside. You was gonna get embarrassed regardless. Now it just made it probably 3 times worse because it was at the altar, at the wedding, and a witness in front of all the people in person. Maybe that was the case. Regardless, you was gonna be embarrassed if he said no. Look, he went all the way through it, got his money. If that's what he needed to do, get his money, get your bread. She got her money too.
Yeah.
She shedded a few tears and cried. At the end of the day, you said it was red flags, yet you still went through with it. You deserve every bit of embarrassment you got. Because you sit there and said before y'all got up to the altar, you knew it was red flags. You should have never done it.
Thank you.
You should have never done it.
Yeah, thank you.
Because she was curious.
And
That's her words. She was curious.
adding on to that,
We know what happened to the cat.
yeah, and adding on to that, she knew it. Also, she got her money. She's gonna get more money. And have y'all ever heard of this saying, this wording, runaway husband? No,
Yeah.
but you heard of runaway bride, right?
I was gonna say not as much as Runaway
You
Bride,
heard
but
of runaway bride, right? So now that he decided it's oh my gosh, poor baby, but women do it all the time. That's why runaway bride is something that everybody's familiar with.
Look here, look, we all know why Brother Payne's saying it because he's a man with daughters and he don't want that shit to happen to his damn daughters.
No,
That's
you know
why
what?
he's saying
Well, hey, let me just say this. All I'm just trying to say, I don't disagree with everybody, but I think men have to really, really guard the fact that you are the guardians of marriage. The women you let through that gate is your responsibility. Period. And everybody, you can't give it to anybody else. I don't care what kind of woman it is. If you marry a woman that's a vampire, she's going to get you. And listen, vampires, the great thing about vampires, when you let them in the door, because they can't hurt you unless you let them in, they like to play with their food.
Okay.
They
Wayne,
do.
you're
They like to play with
absolutely
their
right.
food.
That's why he said no.
Exactly. I'm saying why you ain't acknowledging he did what a man does.
He shouldn't have did it at the altar. That's the only thing I said.
And the whole thing
You
is
have an issue where he did it.
it's a little he did it though. He could have not did it.
No,
man.
he don't get no credit for embarrassing the girl.
What,
Oh,
That's
why?
silky, chocolate
like I
skinny
said,
too.
That's
I'm
man
mad at her because she was
spoken,
nice.
spoken like a man with 2 daughters.
That's Pink
That's why
point.
he's saying
And I have daughters as well, but you know, you just don't want your daughters embarrassed. And that happens to me.
That's him
Yeah,
talking.
well,
I didn't say that shit. He said it.
Let me ask you this. I'm not sorry, Hank. Let me ask you this, Payne. Would you
Yes.
have preferred doing it to your daughter at that moment or after they were married?
Listen. I know.
No. Answer my question, then I'll listen.
Listen, I'm gonna answer your question. Can I? What?
Go ahead.
Force me to answer your question. Let me answer it. See, I pretty much don't like using my daughters, but I will in this circumstance. I wouldn't want any man to bring him to the altar to embarrass him like that. But here's what I'm gonna say this, and you don't have to agree with it. My daughters will never be the kind of women that a man will reject at all.
Also, as a man with a daughter, my daughter's not gonna make it to the altar without me
Absolutely.
also
Yes.
vetting it. If she does, then what happens happens. If she decides to make a decision without me getting to know that young man too, and then I'm just like, look, you kept me out of it. It is what it is. But she's not gonna get. I'm gonna do my damnedest so that she doesn't get to the altar without me
That's
being a
And
part
absolutely.
of that vetting process.
in fairness, with this scenario that we're looking at, this is without you. This is a choice she decided to get on. This is a choice that she decided to make, and now she's at the altar. So what do you
Yeah,
say?
and she's been out there as a single woman much, much, much too long.
Right. So this reality, so she gets paid $3,000 for the reality part of it, meaning the living together and meeting the families and things of that nature. And so I don't remember them meeting a male figure in her family. I thought it was just her mom, right, King, and her sister.
The mom and the sister, not one male
Right.
figure from her side.
Right.
Right. So, whereas he comes from or his mom and his dad was there. Although they were a broken family, they both, showed up. And so it just seems as though she just didn't have the examples, because she talks about, the same guy that she keeps running into, and she's like, well, if there's a red flag, I'll just paint my nails red to match. And it's like, what are you talking about? So, at the end of the day, did everybody go on this about if he was right or wrong to do it at the altar? We know pain. Thank you, Brown. Kenneth, did you go?
Just don't say nothing, Rich. Keep
No,
your mouth shut.
You know what? I say, and King and Payne are father of a daughter too. But to you, both of your points, if she is honest, which you would have advised, and I would have advised, so would all of us would have advised her not to be on. She's already in a place of where she's doing what she wants, whether it's for the money, whatever it's for, she was there. And so at this point, moving forward with my daughter, if she's there now, I have to accept that. And now she's sitting there at the point. I would say to her, I'd rather he did it to you at the altar than went through this, and now we got to go through a whole long divorce and more pain and more suffering because more fighting. I'd rather it happen that way than happen going through it and then not happening. Okay, brothers, I see both hands. Go ahead.
Let me be clear. I wouldn't advise. I would be okay with my daughter doing a show like that. My point to what I was saying earlier was that when it comes to like vetting, like, all right, so we're bringing in all the families. I meet this person. If I'm not catching a good vibe off of old buddy, then I'm going to make my peace with her saying that. Say, hey, look, if you want my blessing or whatever, I'm taking a solid look at this dude. I can't recommend it, right? And if I've said my piece and she continues to go on and do with it, then she's made her decision. But I'm not going to let that go. I'm sizing this dude up in whatever small time I do have, and I'm going to let my daughter know what I think about him.
So the next question is for you, King, directly. Because you saw the show. No, none of us have. Was he a bad guy?
Character wise, I don't think so. No. What gave me pause about him is the motherfucker was flip floppy throughout, and I think he speaks well enough to say what he thinks people want to hear. And if you don't know how to decipher bullshit, he will smooth talk you.
So he's a people
But
pleaser.
yes, but I saw his bullshit early on.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm curious. I'm gonna have to watch the show. I've seen the first episode they ever had on the show, um, where a mixed couple got together, the white guy and the black chick. I've seen that one. That was the last time I watched it. But now,
And
y'all
that
got
couple's still married.
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah.
Now y'all got me
So,
curious.
so I got a question. So, in your assessment of this guy, you're saying, okay, he can get over on people. So, do you think this is a case of there's just the wrong person, or even though you say he has good character, could it be possible that he actually isn't that good of a guy, or was this just a situation where he just didn't want her and he pulled back, even though he thought he can go through it?
No, I think he's attracted to her, and he did some things even after they walked away from the altar where he went to go and like communicate with her. Like he didn't just let her just walk away and then like I don't know what to do. Like he was asking the other males around, like, hey, I know I said no to her, but I want to go check on her. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think he was doing that to save face to make him not look a certain kind of way. I think he generally has feelings for her. Precious said something earlier where I think that he really felt the weight of it at the altar and was like, you know what? 4 weeks or however long was not enough time for me to be able to fully say, I can be the husband that you deserve.
Oh no,
And
no,
maybe if given more time, maybe, but
no.
Right. Right.
No.
And that's another thing that I wanted to pull into this. So because of her failed relationship, she feels as though she's gotten rejected again. And everybody knows that women, at the heart of
don't
it, women don't like to be rejected.
nope.
No.
As quiet as it is, so they don't like to be rejected. So, so with with Clay, it was like, I know he's rejecting me every turn he gets emotionally. I won't say, he was still there for her, but it was a lot of things he had to work out within himself. So, with the going to work and not being there, she felt as though he wasn't there enough. But with the rejecting, it was like, it wasn't rejecting her, it was rejecting the notion of we're getting married on today. And I would rather somebody be honest like that than, now mind you, they're going through an experiment. And I know that our pain is like, no, you wrong for having her go to the altar and
No, no,
embarrassing
I'm
her.
not.
Who the hell
No,
would do
no.
that?
I'm sorry. I was going to say something else. I'm waiting for you to finish.
But it's like they're going through the experiment, and he's going through the experiment trying to now get back into, okay, marriage, and now my dad and that situation. I don't think that he was thinking clearly. Like you said, you were clear, Arpane. You hadn't had sex. You were you were celibate. Like, you know what I mean? I think this is a man coming off of, the street that's looking to get married, but I don't think he cut off his girls. She could tell that he was a ladies' man. She didn't, she didn't I'm pretty sure that she had guys that she was talking to. So it's like, coming into this, you would think that you would be that clear headed, but some people just aren't.
No, no. Can I just say this real
Well,
quick?
let's be clear.
Let
Payne
me,
had no choice but to be celibate.
no,
He had no choice but to be celibate.
okay. I had no choice. Let me just say this. This dude, he left her at the altar, but all he was checking on was seeing if he could still pop the cherry. That's it. He didn't give a shit about this chick, So
It always go back to
if
sexual
he was checking on her, he was going to see if he damaged her enough that she closed the door on him. That's it. So if he could get in there, he ain't getting married. But if you're still open for me to pop the cherry, I'm in on it. That's it. That guy, let me tell you, it's just part of his game. It's
Okay.
part of his game. So we could put some kind of altruism on him. Don't. He don't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. If she would have said, "You hurt me," he said, "Yeah, I know I did, baby. You know what? but let me make it up to you. I know we ain't gonna get married, but you know, there's a possibility in the future, maybe not on the show. Bang, 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 bang. Listen, okay,
Pain.
I'm out. Okay, I'm married. I
I
don't
was
know
about to
shit.
say,
All right,
is
I'm
marriage
married.
all about sex, pain? Because I need to know this. 'Cause I'm thinking about getting married, but you making it seem like it's just about the sex. Is that
No, no,
so?
no, no, no. I'm talking about the individual man. Sean, if you have some character, I'll give it to you. I'm just saying, I picked this guy. He should have never got there. And if he's still trying to make some kind of nice with the chick afterwards, it's only to see if he can still get in.
All that in
Well,
That's it.
so you're
That's
saying
it.
that their relationship has to end there. Like if you didn't say marriage, then
She should drop his ass like the hottest potato on her face. You know,
okay.
and women, that's the one thing I give women. When a woman cuts a man off, your shit is cut off. You ain't coming back. That's where she should be.
That's not true.
That's where she should be.
That's not true.
Oh my God. Yes, it is.
No,
Yes, it
because
is, man. When a woman
see,
knows how, when a woman
okay,
closes the
let me
door,
yeah,
okay, tell me why I'm wrong.
let me tell you
Cause
why
you
you're
the
wrong.
man. Heck, you. How many ones you broke down the door? You
Yes,
popped
I
down
have.
the door. There you
All
go.
this
There
is
you
true, King. I mean, and I appreciate the compliments, but let me say this, because this is why it's true. Because I cheated on my ex-wife and still was able to get back with her. Matter of fact, we even got back after the divorce.
But y'all have a kid though.
No. Now you make a stipulation. Now you
No,
change
I'm
the
not.
scenario. No.
Yes, you are.
You made the
Okay,
statement
I
that
am.
when they done, they done, regardless of
Right,
whatever.
right, right.
Is that what you
No,
said?
no, no, no. Yeah, I just say that,
Okay,
but you
so
know,
don't
I
try to
should
throw
have added every
a much
detail.
in the game. So I just debunked your truth. That's not always
No,
true.
you didn't debunk it. You just put a little dent in it.
Okay, I got you, bro.
Okay, so I'll go with the non-married. If
No,
he
Hank,
beat it
I
down,
hear where
if
you're
he beat
coming
it
from,
down,
but every man ain't Hank.
if he
No, I'm
if he
just saying
beat it
you
down
just
right,
trying to validate
still
my
married.
Damn
point.
right. You damn right.
She let him go.
You know what? I'm sorry I said that, goddamn it.
Oh my gosh, it's getting late.
He got
All right.
all this hype. It's a show. If he'd have did that to anybody's daughter, it'd have been 4th of July, right in that wedding. Perfect. The way,
In real life, you're right.
perfect the way that they could cut
I
clips
think,
and
see, I
lead up
think
to
the
that.
way that people. I'm sorry, Kenny. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, real quick.
Go ahead.
It's funny how they can cut clips to pull at your heartstrings. We had a
Right.
whole like 45 minutes to an hour on that. And you can see the progression of how well they cut the storyline. I ain't never seen a black wedding. You go up there, all that money, all the investment, people getting their time, catering and this, and then you gonna go tell their daughter no. Man, it's like Wild Wild West, old El Paso up in there. You ain't getting out of that. Oh my God. Ain't going like that.
Especially if I'm paying, goddammit. I'm the
I
father.
did.
I'm paying.
I did
Let's
see a
go. Let's
video
go.
of a content creator, and she had the girls that were that came with AD, and it was two little girls that were there, and they said, "I can't believe that this is the portrayal of marriage to these little girls of him saying no."
Yeah, that part was sad because you saw the little girls like looking up while she's. I was like, "Yo, now that's what they're going to see," and there wasn't a man around. Period.
It
Wow,
wasn't. It
that's
wasn't.
interesting you say that because it happens in real life all the time.
I was gonna say it was a dose of reality that you sign these contracts, but it's like I don't know if I ever seen kids that small at one of the Love Is Blind shows. I don't know. I would have to recall me. I could be wrong, but they were very visible. They were very noticeable.
I
I
agree.
don't remember seeing
Here's why
small
I say we have
children.
it all the time. You don't see little kids at weddings that have
Had that same thought,
like
Precious.
that
At the same
uh,
thought.
all the time, but you see little kids going to uh, mistresses' houses. You see little kids going to saying uncle to people who ain't really kids. You see
God,
little kids doing a whole so they're taking front stage to some horrible dysfunction in life.
Yes. So, Sean, you said you're getting ready to get married? Did you say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
When's this?
Once you get divorced, it ain't happening. No.
So what our pain was, I guess, mad because he tried to go back there and circle the block on the chick and check the temperature room and try to get some cheeks. What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem, man? First of all, she's she says she's a city girl. So we know the stigma of what a city girl is and how they act and how they carry themselves. So right then and there, yeah. Why not try to go back and check the temperature, see if I can get one more?
Well, I just wanted to peep the game. That's all. I didn't say you shouldn't go back. I'm just saying.
You sound like
they had this love fest for him going on the panel, and I wanted to set it straight.
I know, man, but you made it sound like, he was dead wrong for going to check and see if he could get one more night.
He was only dead wrong for leaving her at the altar. Everything that happened afterwards is fair game.
So in that television show, he should have, went through with it.
No, he should have never put her at the altar. Now,
that was.
I would, he should have said, "Listen, you cost me $1,500 because I wanted to put you at the altar to turn you down, but I'm gonna give up the $1,500 because I respect your black chocolate skin that much." And then he would have been in there. I would have just said that to her. I said, "Listen, I could have got you to the altar, but I don't want to marry you. However, the fact that you cost me $1,500, what?
That's sex.
So now you trying to justify where he laid his con at.
It's
like the con him at the altar. Before.
Okay, before you go off of me, Hick, I'm a married man. All I got is fantasy. All I got is fantasy left. That's it. I'm married. All I got is fantasy.
You put those fantasies out here. You put those fantasies out here and misguiding young men like
I'm having a good time.
Young men like me who wants to get married, and now I'm traumatized, thinking maybe I shouldn't because I might like pain.
You ain't traumatized.
Don't listen to me. Listen to Kenneth. He's wholesome.
You funny. You married and calling people chocolatey and all that good stuff is lusting. That's a sin, right?
Oh yeah, man. Me and God is on first name basis. He'll forgive me.
Oh,
God,
so you get a hall pass.
Hey, listen, man. You know what? He's got me this far. He's got me this far. He'll get me a little further. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
Let's try to save pain for some heartache and end the show right now. Can we do that? Because he's talking.
Bring it in. Bring it in.
Jesus Christ.
Can I say this before I go? Because I'm about to blow.
Yes, let's do some final words. But go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say, I watched the show with you and your son, and I commend you and salute you for that. I enjoyed it. That show that I did with my daughter and I was about a year ago, and I just reposted it because now it has even more relevance. And the conversation that your son had was very relevant as well, and it was good to see a father with a son as much as I enjoyed seeing myself as a father with a daughter. So I just want to salute you on that, and thank you for sending it over so I got a chance to watch it.
You're welcome.
So how many shows have you done with your son? I know I've caught one. Is this a recent show?
No, I mean I did. It was this past year. I did one with him, like right before his basketball season. We're talking about doing another one here soon. So yeah, that's in the works. Probably during the summertime when he's out for the summer. I would do another show with him.
Was he in college?
Yes.
Yeah. And I gotta say this also. I ain't never seen Hank laugh and smile so much in my head. On all these times that I've seen him on this show with us men here, the smiles that man had when his son was there was priceless.
Yeah, I watched it. I saw a softer side of you.
That's because y'all don't bring me joy, so that's why.
Great answer.
That's funny show, man.
Hey, not the sound effects. Hey, I see that soundboard working now, Precious.
I had to be accountable. Okay, I had to be accountable.
That is funny, man.
Where the wine at?
Coffee is right here.
So don't
The
make
soundboard is over here.
don't make a mistake. Not, I mean, a mistake for.
Oh my
Damn.
God.
Damn.
Here we go again.
And HD, by the way, I also want to say to you, I know I've been taking little shots, but it's just in fairness. We do this all the time. You ain't here often, but we just do it. It ain't nothing personal. It's just all in fun.
I knew it was war when he put mistake nut up there. I was like, it's gonna be a long night.
No,
Oh
it
my
wasn't
goodness.
war.
How long
Yeah,
has it been?
listen, I put this stuff up here for comedic relief. That's what I do.
I know.
So, just to wrap everything up, is love really blind, or do we really see what's going on and we choose to ignore what's really going on?
Absolutely.
We just straight up ignoring stuff.
No,
Yeah, my final thought,
absolutely.
we need to keep the take the shades off and keep the blinders or the covers off. You need to see what's going on because it's crazy out here. As far as Love is Blind, no, it shouldn't be. And if you go in there blind, then you in trouble. So
No, but the point is, the question is love blind? And for too many people, it is. And the biggest offenders or the biggest victims are men, especially if you're blind in marriage. If you let the vampire in, you're doomed. Okay,
it's vampire,
and no. Listen, I'm just trying to say is I love women, but the truth of the matter is you can't pass off accountability for marrying a woman. Like if your name was like Joe Smith and you marry a woman like his wife, you deserve everything you get. You gotta vet women because I use the vampire analogy because it's not because I hate women. It's because the analogy works. You can't get hurt unless you let them in. And in your house, you let a woman in your house that she doesn't belong there because you're enamored and you're in love with whatever you're in love with, but you haven't vetted her properly. It's not like you're going to get hurt today, tomorrow, or next day because vampires like to play with their food. So at some point, when you think you got this jet stream going, she's going to say, well, I'm not happy. Well, it's time for me to leave. Well, whatever. And then you're destroyed because the United States, our government, our laws is against men. And we all know it. So you got to be vigilant and diligent, whatever the goddamn word is.
Well,
So I don't give men any pass for marrying a woman that they shouldn't marry. I don't. Just like we shame women for putting their legs open for the wrong guy, you get your ass kicked for marrying the wrong woman, and you gotta eat that L. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
in fairness, can't we say, Payne, that vampires exist a lot more now than it did in your time back in
I'm not gonna
biblical
say that.
days?
Nah, man, the vampires have been around from the time immemorial.
So you're trying to say that
We have social media so we can see them better. That's all.
So wouldn't that be safe to say that? Because think about it, you didn't have to decipher as much as this generation has to decipher.
Yeah, but you what? I'll agree with some of that. But you know what? Everybody keeps acting like we didn't have 304s in my era. That we didn't have all the kind of stuff. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I didn't have to go through 100 women to find my wife, but I had to go through a few. And let me tell you, just because you have to go through 100 in 2024, if you really want to be married, go through 101 and shut the F up. I don't have no sympathy for it.
Spoke like a man with daughters. Right on, Payne.
Yeah, I'm willing to say that love is blind, but attraction ain't. The reality is you can find things about a person that you can hear, you can feel, you can get all your feelings and all the vibes, and you ain't got to see this person. But once you start seeing, you start putting two to two together, and you start thinking, listen, you can love a person, but that don't mean you got to be with them.
Thank you. Kenny, you think love is blind, or do you think we ignore the signs? Final thoughts.
I would agree. Love is blind. Within love, you could be blinded by it. You can't win every battle, and certain ones you don't fight. But the goal is to win the war. I made examples of Rita Marley and Camille Cosby. Good, bad, and indifferent. They know their situation, and no one else can speak for them. Like the examples given, saying people are stupid, but you're saying that from the outside. You're saying people make you cringe. You're saying that from the outside. It goes back to what I said. You're not going to win every battle. Just stay the course. And not everything that you see, you should see. You want to win the war. At the end of the day, you're going to do what's best for you. Not everything you're going to take to heart and take seriously or make it a non negotiable. But you know why you cleaved yourself in a certain thing. I would hope so.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sean, your final thoughts? Is love blind or do we ignore the signs? Final thoughts.
I don't know what that means, final. I'm trying to figure it out.
Wrap it up.
Is love blind? Can be, definitely. Society is blind as well. And right now, I think society is more influential or is guiding us more so than love ever is. And unfortunately, society idea and ideal, that's why I was just asking with Payne, is in a very is in a worse place than it was back in the days. Because society has lent itself. It's kind of like there used to be, as he said, let's say hoes were out there, but now hoes is a culture and it's something that's accepted. It's not something that's shamed. And as long as it's not shamed, we will continue to have these horrible, despicable mistakes of a relationship. And it's an unfortunate reality that we're living right now, and I hope that God willingly it changes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The actual King Smith, sir. Do you think love is blind, or are we ignoring the signs? Final thoughts.
I think that we are ignoring the signs. I initially was gonna come on here and take the side that that guy was deplorable, but I like doing these panels because all of the fellas said something that reminded me that in a silo, I wanted to look at her because I think that she had good intentions on getting to the marriage and getting to the altar and marrying him. But then when all of the fellas came out and said, King, stop getting blinded by that leg in that wedding dress and take a look at the fact that prior to the beginning of everything, that guy was telling her what he wasn't ready for, and she still ignored it. And she still went there. And like that makes actually her uh choices and the decisions that she make not that great as well. I have to kind of take a step back and be like, you know what? They're right about that. So I think that people choose to ignore the red flags and then get burned when they decide to touch the stove after that stove being on and hot and still trying to touch it anyway. So that's my final thoughts, and thanks for allowing me to come on.
Hey,
No.
President, before you go
Yeah.
real quick, can I ask you a question? Did you watch that Dinner with My Loved Ones video that was on
No.
I was asking Precious though.
Dinner with my love. One.
Yeah, my loved ones on that communal page that we have on Instagram. I thought you did because I know you said you liked it, so maybe you didn't look at it. So it's on there. It's on there. Don't worry about it.
What exactly is it? I watch so much. I see so much. I'm sorry. I see so much.
No. I just wanted to know because you liked it, but like every Sunday, right? I cook dinner for my family, right? So I set up how I prepare the meal, and I put some commentary to it. It's like a 6-minute video. All of you guys, if you're on that thing, watch.
I didn't watch it. I have to watch it.
No, I thought you did because I just saw your name on it. But I think it's pretty cool. But I get a chance to, we have conversations with the folks around the dinner table on
Okay.
Sunday. So I cook the meal for everybody on that. So I just
All pain.
Oh, okay. I'm about
Go
to see
ahead.
what you whipping up over there.
Great job, OG.
Yeah.
What would Jesus do at this moment?
Well, he would clap me on the back and say, "Hey, listen, man. You know what? I'm gonna invite you to the next Last Supper."
Mm.
Me and Jesus
I
is
just
cool,
wanted to say
by the way.
peace. I didn't go to work today because I got to handle some family business, but peace. Thank you for having me, precious fellas. Always a pleasure. Again,
Peace,
uh,
Big Sean.
I
Hope
did
all
look
is well, Sean.
your show came because I'm you just made it sound very interesting as opposed to the food that you showed us earlier.
Yeah, might give me some dinner ideas watching this show.
But y'all have a great evening, and till next week, I hope I see y'all all and we all.
Thank
get
you, Sean. Hope all is well.
Later.
So do I think love is blind? I don't know. Would I rather go in blind or would I rather go in seeing? I think that the things that we see with our natural eyes sometimes can mess with our thoughts. And so that's why when you get married, you need that, they call it a um three rope and weavement where it's you, God, and your spouse. And so you have to have some type of counsel that's going to help you. And if you don't have that, or you decline that, or you don't pay attention to that, you have to understand it's going to show up in your relationships. Like it just is. And even if you have had that, you have to continuously do it. You have to continuously be better as a person, and excuse me, resolving conflict. But I don't think that they had that. I don't think that they had those support systems. And AD's mom kept on cheering it on, cheering it on, cheering it on. She really didn't have anyone to pull the reins back for her. And so I think women do get in a whirlwind of, oh, it'll get better, oh, it'll get better, oh, it'll get better, and not really see and point out what's really going on. They really act like they're blind to it. Like, oh, I saw the red flags, but I just thought, what are you thinking when you're actually seeing what's going on? When you're actually seeing it, there is no room to think. It is what it is. And so I don't think that AD should have felt bad about him saying no. I really don't think so. Because it wasn't blind to me. They saw everything that was going on, and so it kind of, the writing was on the wall for them. So I appreciate you guys coming this evening. Those who are in the chat, those who are watching, I see some likes on Facebook, so I appreciate you guys. Definitely like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification just so you're notified about all. I go live on other platforms as well. Everyone here has a platform. HD, you have a platform. Kenny, he be on these YouTube streets doing his thing, speaking his truth. Arpain has his show. We got to go watch him cook and cater to his family and see how they do it. Hank had a video about, talking about the elders teaching the younger men, and the older women teaching the younger women. And you talk about your video like, oh, have you guys seen it? And yes, I liked it, but I didn't watch it. I must admit, I just like that you put it in the chat. Got to go back to it. But those are the videos that they're so underground, you know what I mean? But those are the examples. So I am looking forward to watching it, but those are the examples that we need that just aren't strong in the media. I mean, social media, this week, and it's only Monday, just the things that are on social media. So, you want to say, is love blind? No, it's not blind. We see what's going on, but we choose to ignore it. We think that we have more time. We think we could play with God. Like, it's just a lot of things that we allow ourselves in the free will that we have to make the choices that we make. And they both made choices. She made a choice to stay with him, thinking that she can do what she continuously did and get a different result. And she saw that she couldn't do that. And I think that was the reality of it all. Right. So if you're going to go into it seeing. And if you need help seeing, we are advocates of therapy. We do advocate that, you go sit on somebody's couch, get wise counsel, start journaling, do something where you're able to communicate what the blockages are. Because you're gonna have to face it at one point in time or another. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming. We'll be back on next Monday. I will be live with Lady Di on Wednesday, so definitely look out for that.
What's the topic? You know,
We're gonna be talking about old girl who wanna have a 22-year-old
oh my
baby
God.
girl.
Don't even get me started.
I know
And
that's one of the topics. I don't know if
how,
that's everything that we're talking about, but I know that's one of them.
how old is she?
39.
Freya is 39.
Oh, you mean the basketball
39,
player?
And yeah. So we're gonna be talking about that. Because
Oh, that's a good one. I'd be interested in hearing what you guys got to say. I did a little piece on my channel. I have a series called "Let the Women Tell It,"
mhm.
and that's one of them. Six the Goddess goes in on Drea Michelle. Oof. But
See,
anyway,
Marpain ain't gonna let us end it all,
okay. I'm sorry.
You guys have a great evening. See you next week. And thank you. Be real with yourself so you can be real with others. Have a good evening.
I'm gonna crash your channel next.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe, and way out. I appreciate you guys. Have a great evening.